on, y'all? I can't hear anything again. I don't know. My headphones. I need some more headphones. Bear with me, people. I'm trying. I can't believe this. Oh, how y'all doing? For some reason, the headphones are taking 1,000 years to connect. Can you all see me and hear me fine? Put a one in the chat if you can hear me. Put a one in the chat if you can hear me. Hey, Laura. Laura McRae. What's going on, Stolen Pleasures? What's going on, Rap? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, buddy? One. I see it. All right, here we are. There we go. There we go. There we go. Camille, how you doing? What's going on, everybody? What is going on, everybody? Yankee City girl, how y'all doing? Everybody speak to everybody in the chat. Did you all enjoy the conversation we had earlier with John Wilson? That was an absolute pleasure. It was just a great conversation, great talk. Be able to share ideas so you guys can see that there is a very strong possibility to reach across the aisles or in the middle point in one aisle on one side and one aisle on the other and be able to talk and just get down to the bottom of what's serious and what matters the most. Shout out to John Wilson. It was a fantastic conversation. I enjoyed that. He was a nice guy. Very nice guy. He's very nice, very respectful. I enjoyed the conversation. Y'all, he was making sense. I know, right? And y'all know me, I'm not political. When it comes to that left and right stuff, y'all know I don't do left or right. It comes down to what's best for Americans. I am a for American, but y'all see how it's very possible for people to be able to have a conversation and to the things we agree on. And not that I really disagree with anything he said. I'm not big on the politics of it. But we both had a conversation. We both shared our thoughts and ideas, and that's how it's done. That's how it's done, people. Check you out, Laura. Member for 6 months. Thank you for that renewal. Shout out to my mod, Laura. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for the support, honey. Y'all make sure y'all grab some memberships. At some point, I guess I'm gonna have to get Patreon because I still want to do movie night. I finally saw Superman. I did finish up Superman, though. But no, we got to get in. We got to get in a couple Milk Bar TV videos. Shout out to Milk Bar TV. He had a copyright strike sent to him from Candace, who sit see and talk about free speech all day. And she was just so mad. And she sends a copyright strike. It's so crazy. Did you watch Frank Turek's video concerning Candace? I was a mentor who was standing next to him. He was, you know what? I have 2 Milk Bar videos, and then I thought I had a video. Hold on. It's just I'm gonna have to look up Frank Turek. There's something that was on Charlie Kirk's channel that I was sent. Frank Turek. He responded. Y'all tell me which video. What's his channel name? Is this on Rustlin's video? Is it Rustlin video? Y'all tell me what it is. Y'all listen. I heard they went in on her in the chat. I'm not changing the title. We're having fun with it. She could call me out single handedly if she don't like the title of my video. But I heard she did catch it in the chat. This is Frank Tourette responds. Okay, let's get Russell and KD. I like Russell and KD. I'm pulling his video, and we'll check that out. There we go. Something for everybody. Hold on a second. So, Milk Bar did a couple videos as well. I want to make sure I have this line up right. I just want to make sure I got this right. So Russell and Katie, we'll watch this one after the two milk bars. Frank Tourette responds to Candace. Oh man, I bet that was epic. People are getting tired of her. All right, Candace, you walking around here trying to declare war on all of Turning Point USA and all this other stuff. People getting sick of you, girl. They're gonna start suing her behind. It's a short on his channel called Cross Examine. Cross Examine. I think that's what I just saw, right? Cross Examine. Oh, here it is. So he responded to her in a short. It says a short. Unless you have yo. Okay. We're gonna check this out first. Hold on. Oh. Unless you have evidence. Shut up. You can't make this up. Hold on. Play the playlist. Y'all. Oh, we gonna watch this. Okay. I love it. I love it. I've been saying this. Have I not been saying the same thing? Have I not been saying the same thing about Candace Owens and her lack of evidence? Because she don't seem to care. Hey, give a thumbs up. Candace Owens, Charlie Kirk. Oh yeah, he was intentional on this one. All right, y'all. Y'all hit the like button, y'all. Come on in and everybody speak to everybody and put a heart in the chat once you hit that like button. I'm not playing. Let's put these videos up in the algorithm. And I just want to thank you all for the support because the Candace videos are picking up views. And if she's got to get millions of views, spread lies, I would like to get thousands of views telling the truth. Somebody's got to debunk her. Somebody's got to do it. Candace, where is that response that you and your attorney was supposed to be filing? You got 2 days, girl. You know I'm staying on top of that court case. Y'all know I'm staying on top of that court case. I will be here. Lady Luck Club will be the place to come for the Macron lawsuit update when that starts. Oh, yes. Yes, it will. And I'm not playing with it. I want them to win. That woman has been through enough because of Candace Owens. Candace, where's your response to this amended complaint? You talking all that stuff and running your mouth. You and your attorney better have that. Oh, yeah, there's an update to the case. They're so full of shit. Oh, they so full of it. Oh, God. Let me share this. Hold on. Let's start it out. Y'all, look at the status. Oh, my God. What's going on, Jesus Come? Now, how y'all doing? We're looking at the status for this Macron lawsuit. Let me make myself small. They full of crap. Candace, you and your attorney y'all are full of shit. They're full of shit. And yes, y'all have to excuse my profanity right now. What's going on? Y'all let's help make that goal of $25 per live. Please do. Because we're trying to get a desk. Hold up. The Candies were honestly calling her out. Please don't tease me. I heard they were calling her out in the chat. There was a watermark or something on his video. I heard it was. Yep, we're trying to get a desk. So let's help hit that $25 goal. It just started. Oh, you didn't miss anything. We got to look at the status of this case here. So let's go up so everybody can say, how do we know that's hers? Because facts and evidence. So the case number is N as in Nancy, 25C as in Candace, -07-194, Emmanuel Macron versus Candace Owens et al. We're looking at the docket here. You guys can see the parties and their information, the attorneys, the sheriffs, all those good things. Let's get down here to the most recent updates. Because I told you all I'm staying on top of it. Candace, no one is playing with you, girl. So the last activity that was entered here was a notice back on October 14th that was docketed on the 22nd regarding this amicus brief that was received on October 14th from a non-party and rejected by the court. So now we have a new entry, a proposed order from Chad Chandler. This is Chad Chandler is okay. This is the second attorney for Candace Owens. So this is Candace's attorney, Chad Chandler. Proposed order. Proposed order submitted, date docketed October 28, 2025. Text of proposed order requesting extension of 3,000 additional words for defendant's opening brief in support of their motion to dismiss plaintiff's first amended complaint accepted. Candace, why do you keep filing these motions to dismiss if you don't want the case to be dismissed? Why not just file a simple response? Why go for a motion to dismiss if you don't want it dismissed? Just do a simple response. It's so ridiculous. This is why I keep y'all now y'all see why I don't take Candace Owens. Like, her rhetoric and stuff is getting dangerous, but when she's sitting here lying to her own people, I don't want the case dismissed. And, I don't want. I want to get to the discovery phase. How the hell does this get you to the discovery phase? She who doesn't know how the court works. How does this get you to the discovery phase if you're going to sit here and file another motion to dismiss the amended complaint? And you keep prolonging the deadline by asking for extensions. It's an amended complaint. You don't have to respond to the entire complaint all over again, just the part that was amended. So now they're seeking an extension again of 3,000 additional words to be put in the opening brief. So the way the pleading is set up, you have like a cover letter, the motion itself, table of contents. Then you have the brief to support the motion. The brief is kind of like that legal argument. You get to put in why you believe it should be dismissed, the legal precedents with case law, and what the court should also consider based on the finding of fact, law, and evidence. And they're going from this stance of, this court doesn't have jurisdiction. But they're not saying that she has an LLC registered there. Like, they're leaving that out because you can't make this up. So now they're asking for additional time to add in 3,000 more words in their brief to support the motion. For them to still say the same thing for no damn reason at all. They were supposed to be completed with their motion to dismiss or whatever response they were going to give by October 30th. Y'all see this up here? Amended complaint, proposed order governing deadline to respond to amended complaint, October 30th. Y'all see that here? So the defense was supposed to have whatever response, whether you just do a normal response or you're actually doing the motion to dismiss, which is baffling to me because she doesn't want the case dismissed. You don't even seek that type of, motion if you don't want it dismissed. You just respond. But she wants to file a motion to dismiss and lie to everyone else about it because she knows she's going to lose like hell. And then trying this weak ass pathetic route, talking about jurisdiction and all this other stuff, when she has filed a lawsuit in the state of Delaware Superior Court herself that she lost. Candace, you lost that case. You lost it. You lost. So many L's you've taken when it comes to matters of the law. I'm here to point it out. This was supposed to be done by October 30th in 2 days. By Thursday, Candace. And then y'all turn around and wait till the midnight hour and file an extension with a proposed order requesting an extension of 3,000 additional words. You can't make this stuff up. So why are you prolonging it, Candace? Why prolong it? If you really want this case to proceed, why prolong it? Y'all see how this makes no sense? She's not moving like she's making boss moves here. She's not making decisions because her attorneys are representing her and what she wants. And she's the type of person, if she doesn't get what she wants, she would just fire her attorneys and get new attorneys. But she's not doing that. Now, we all know she's not a lawyer or an attorney. She didn't go to anybody's law school. But someone like her who can't even take regular advice on, many things, you would think if she really did not want this dismissal, that she would tell her attorneys, do not file this motion, or else I will fire your ass and go hire another attorney that will simply file a response. We can respond to the court through a general response. It doesn't have to be with a motion to dismiss. But nope. She wants this motion to dismiss. The attorneys represent you. And while they represent your best interest, if she really did not want to go down that path, then her attorneys would not be filing this. And asking for an extension every time they do it. This is crazy. How many extensions do they need? What have they been doing this entire time? You can't make this stuff up. Candace was out for a whole week. Her attorneys couldn't get a response together. And then there's another letter for judicial review. All right. So this was also docketed today, October 28th. So both of these entries were docketed today. Letter for judicial review, date docketed October 28th. Letter to the Honorable Sheldon R. Rennie from Chad M. Chandler, dated October 24th, 25, requesting extension of 3,000 additional words for defendants' opening brief in support of their motion to dismiss the plaintiff's first amended complaint, with an exhibit to the letter to the judge from her attorney, along with the actual request itself. So, how long do they need to add in 3,000 more words? Candace, you're prolonging this case. You're being a coward about this. You're not even talking about this stuff on your show. You're prolonging this case on purpose. And you're seeking a dismissal, which is something you said you don't want to happen. So why file this? I told you all they trying to prolong this. Didn't I tell you all that? I said they're trying to prolong this. Candace does not want to face the truth. She is trying to prolong this. She knows she has lied on someone being born a man with no scientific evidence. She flat out lied. And all that she's doing is either prolonging the case, asking for extensions, and seeking dismissal. Now, I'm not saying she doesn't have the legal right to file it. I'm just saying that she was lying to you all the candy asses out there that believe every word she says. She lied to you people on Tucker Carlson's show when she said she does not want the case dismissed. Because this is not the actions of someone who doesn't want a case to be dismissed, and they're talking about fighting it. And then yet again says dumb shit like, oh, I'm fighting on behalf of the world. No, you're not. This is not fighting, Candace. There's no fight in this. This is stupid. You need how long to put in 3,000 more words in your brief? And I'm asking your attorneys here because you wouldn't know that. How much more time do you all need? You have until October 30th. You couldn't get the actual dismissal, the brief done in time by then. And now you wait until 2 days before it's due to the court to seek an extension. They are delaying the matter. And it's annoying. And the Macron's attorneys need to object to that and say they are intentionally delaying this case. We need to get on to have the hearing on the motion so that the courts can decide how we proceed moving forward. Because this heifer said she didn't want it dismissed. She wanted to get to the discovery. Why are we doing all of this? They need to object. I get the first time they requested for an extension on the original petition because it's over 200 pages. But the amended complaint, all you do is respond to what's amended. They had 25 good days to do it and even agreed that it would be done by October 30th. And now all of a sudden, they want to seek a dismissal 2 days before it's due. You can't make this stuff up. Candace, stop playing with the court. They're gonna get sick of your ass before you even step foot in the courtroom. Stop playing with the courts. Courts are not for play. You and your attorneys need to get it together. I think personally the judge should deny this because he made it clear this is to be the deadline here. Y'all need to adhere to this. It's October 30th. Now y'all asking for more time 2 days before it's due. Get out of here. You can't make this stuff up. For 3,000 more words. It took you all this time to say, oh, we need more time to add in 3,000 words. I can't make this up. That's what it says here. 3,000 additional words. Literally. Because we bring facts and evidence here in the Lady Luck Club. Candace, I don't have to make stuff up. I just read. I told you I was staying on top of this case. You can't make this up. This has got to be a joke. I would be personally insulted if I were the judge and I have to sit here and read this stupid ass proposed order where you're asking me for more time yet again, 2 days before the due date. What the hell y'all been doing this whole time? That's laziness. Move on with this case, Candace. You said you wanted to get to the discovery phase. Why are you stopping that from happening here? All right, y'all, that's the case update. They're playing games. Because you can't make this stuff up. All right, let's get to it. Thank you all for tuning in. I know it's late, but we about to have some fun, y'all. They out here playing games with the court. You know, it's crazy. So let's get to what Frank and my sin is right. Frank Tourette? What's his name? This is Charlie Kirk's mentor. He clapped back and he clapped back epically based on the title. I'm just trying to see his name. I don't want to. I see all you guys in here. Thank you all so much. Can the judge reject her request to dismiss? Yes, he could. The thing is, with these types of court matters here, what this motion to dismiss is going to do is trigger a hearing. Okay? Since they're not doing a traditional response, they're actually requesting of the court to move to have the case dismissed. But that comes with a hearing where both sides get to present legal argument as to why the motion should be granted or denied. And then once they get the hearing in, that's why I said they need to stop asking for extensions if they know they're going to get a hearing on the motion either way. They can explain whatever it is they need to explain in the motion and present verbal legal argument in the motion in the hearing. They're asking for time to put 3,000 more words on paper. Just say what you need to say in your legal argument in the actual hearing. That's still going to be recorded either way. It's going to become public court record. But no, they want to prolong it. It's nothing but a ploy to prolong everything. It's just, it's exhausting here. This is what takes so long for cases like this to move through the courts, because you get the defense that's always trying to find a way to either have it dismissed or delayed, and then get mad when it's denied. So after the hearing, then the judge takes into consideration, based on the finding of fact, law, and evidence, whether or not the case should be dismissed. So that would be the point after the hearing where they can determine, the judge will determine where the case can be dismissed. Now, what the judge could do is not have a hearing and just do, a review of the motions with their exhibits and documents, and kind of like a judgment, a summary judgment, a written judgment, where they don't have to have an actual hearing, but the judge just looks at the complaint, the defendant's motion to dismiss, all their exhibits, and go from there to determine whether it should be denied or granted. But more than likely, the Macron's attorney is going to want a hearing on that, because they have a huge complaint and there are a lot of exhibits. And of course, this involves, foreign leader and his wife, they're gonna want a hearing. Um, but I hope it's denied. I hope the motion to dismiss is denied so that it can move forward through the legal process like Candace wants it to. Why go back and lie on that, Candace? You're a hypocrite, girl. Why lie about it? So hopefully the judge denies it, and that way the Macrons can, get some level of justice in this. And this is why I advocate for Josh Hammer and all these other people. She keep dogging out to sue her ass as well. Candace, you gonna learn. You'll learn. Y'all ready to get to this? I'm ready to hear what this man has to say. So put a 1 in the chat if you guys can hear and see. Hold on, let me put the link. Man, the views are jumping up on this thing like wildfire. All right. Let me put the link to the video in the chat. There you go. 72 people in here. Make sure you guys hit that like button. I appreciate you all for tuning in. This case is going to delay after delay if she can. Exactly. It's so annoying. And she knows it. And it's part of their gimmick. It's okay, well, let's ask for an extension 2 days before the motion is due. Why? For 3,000 words. Attorneys suck. All right, let's get to it.
It sucks too, because you listen to people like Candace Owens, like right now with her conspiracy theories and stuff, and like, I don't know, man, I'm getting more and more thinking the best thing that could happen to humanity is the internet could go down.
Yeah, as soon as we lose Wi-Fi, we're all upset, but that might be the best thing that happens to us. By the way, I haven't followed a lot of what Candace Owens has done, but I will say what I have seen. There's a difference between a possibility and evidence for a possibility. You can speculate on anything you want, but unless you have evidence, shut up. Okay? Because all you...
Oh, man. Oh, I wish I could give him a standing ovation. No, that's right. Candace, you about to learn the hard way what that means. Because the judge is going to be telling you that in court. Unless you have evidence, shut up. Yeah, no, what the judge is going to probably start doing is sectioning your attorneys. Because you want to bring this mess in my courtroom. And then y'all kept delaying it and delaying it and delaying it with all these extensions. And now you want all this preferential treatment because she thinks she's somebody. Is that what I'm hearing, counselor? Your client thinks she's somebody, and I'm supposed to treat her like she's special. Nope.
Difference between a possibility and evidence for a possibility. You can speculate on anything you want, but unless you have evidence, shut up. Okay? Because all you're doing is causing dissension among the brothers, which is something the Lord hates. If you want to present a possibility and say, well, this could be true, okay, it could be true, but don't accuse people for doing something for which you have no evidence.
Oh, yeah.
I heard today, I guess I hadn't seen it myself, but I heard today she was judging people who didn't act the right way. I don't know if anyone seen this video? According to Candace Owens, these people did not act the right way after Charlie's death. Like my friend Mikey McCoy, the brilliant 24-year-old who at the time when Charlie was shot was 23 and was a hero that day. He apparently didn't act the right way according to Candace Owens. He didn't act normal. Newsflash, there is no normal when you're in shock.
Thank you.
There is no normal when an abnormal...
Was he reading my thoughts? I said the same stuff last night. Did I not? Put a 1 in the chat if you heard me say the same stuff last night. Didn't I just say this last night? I know what I'm talking about. I said the same things last night. You can't predict how someone should show what their fight or flight response is. How do you say it's normal to get on the ground, but then would say, I would have ran towards your fight or flight response. You either run away and not record. Like, what are you talking about? You can't tell somebody what to do. Or you run towards your friend. I would have ran towards my friend. And then 10 seconds later, it's normal to get on the ground. Which one is it, girl? You can't make this stuff up. I said the same thing last night. 84 people watching. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Y'all share this. Oh, we getting in it because I'm on one tonight. Candace, like I was last night, I'm on one tonight. Yep.
Owens.
You can't
He
make
didn't
this
act
up.
normal. Newsflash, there is no normal when you're in shock.
Get your popcorn out.
There is no normal when an abnormal thing happens. Some
Thank
people
you.
are going to act one way, other people are going to act another way. You don't know how you would react.
Thank you.
I didn't know how I would react. The
Thank
only
you.
reason that I did what I did is because I thought about it beforehand. I was afraid somebody would take a shot at Charlie. And I thought to myself, if it does happen, what am I going to do? Decide now.
Oh, boy.
And what I wanted to do would do anything I could to save him. In that sense, if it had to happen, I was glad I was there because now I know there's nothing I could have done.
Wow.
Nobody could have done anything. He was gone already. We learned that later when we got, looking at him, I thought he was gone, but it was verified when we got to the hospital.
See that, Candace?
But don't
you suck.
say that because I'm observing. Psychologists know you can't even get in somebody's head when they're on the couch.
Thank you.
And yet you're going to judge people on video from afar? Save it.
Thank you.
You're adding pain to people who had enough pain. Next time I'll tell you what I really think.
My
Yeah. Put a red heart in the chat for Frank to read. What's it? What church he talking? What church he preach at? He just gave you all the full truth. The full truth. Just ready all lawsuits. Look at here. Red hearts in the chat if you believe that man just told the truth. Hallelujah. Red hearts in the chat. I said the same thing last night. You can't sit here and say how someone would react to seeing a person get shot right in front of you. And then to see the aftermath of that. The blood splatter, all this stuff. And she's just sitting here rewinding it and studying it like the soulless, evil miscreant that she is. How do you watch that so many times and not one time do you just shed a tear or two? Not one time. She barely cried. Yeah, I gotta go back. You can't make
It
this
sucks
up.
too because you listen to people like Candace Owens, like
Woo,
right now
child.
with her conspiracy theories and stuff, and like, I don't know, man. I'm getting more and more thinking the best thing that could happen to humanity is the internet could go down.
Yeah, as soon as we lose Wi-Fi, we're all upset, but that might be the best thing that happens to us. By the way, I haven't followed a lot of what Candace Owens has done,
It's called Read a
but
Book.
I will say what I have seen,
You can't
there's
make
a
this up.
difference between a possibility and
Woo, child.
evidence for a possibility. You can speculate on anything you want, but unless you have evidence, shut up.
Come on here.
Okay, because all you're doing is causing dissension among the brothers, which is something the Lord hates. If you
That's
want
right.
to present a possibility and say, well, this could be true, okay, it could be true, but don't accuse people for doing something for which you have no evidence.
Amen.
I heard
Amen.
today, I guess I hadn't seen it myself, but I heard today she was judging people who didn't act the right way. I don't know if anyone seen this video? She did.
Yeah, we saw it.
According to Candace Owens, these people did not act the right way after Charlie's death. Like my friend Mikey McCoy, the brilliant 24-year-old who at the time when Charlie was shot was 23 and was a hero that day. He apparently didn't act the right way according to Candace Owens. He didn't act normal. Newsflash, there is no normal when you're in shock. There is no normal when an abnormal thing happens. Some people are going to act one way, other people are going to act another way. You don't know how you would react. I didn't know how I would react. The only reason that I did what I did is because I thought about it beforehand. I was afraid somebody would take a shot at Charlie. And I thought to myself, if it does happen, what am I going to do? Decide now.
Exactly.
And what I wanted to do was do anything I could to save him. In that sense,
my Lord,
if it had to happen, I was glad I was there, because now I know there's nothing I could have done.
Yep. Unfortunately.
Nobody could have done anything. He was gone already. We learned that later when we got, looking at him, I thought he was gone, but it was very.
That is the worst feeling in the world, is feeling helpless, feeling as if there's nothing you can do. Even if you were a trained neurosurgeon, just seeing the entry wound and the splatter. And I majored in biology pre-med to be a doctor. There was no way to stop that massive blood loss. And there's nothing worse than that. People already probably feel guilty about that. And Candace is searing that in. It's like the devil reminding you of your past for no reason. Just so you can feel all this guilt and shame. And for what? She wasn't there at all. And now she's inflicting her guilt and shame of not being there for him, not having a relationship or, a friendship. She couldn't even prove that they had any dealings with each other within the last year. Within the past year leading up to the day he died. All her pictures and text messages and all this nonsense coming from 2018, 2019, before they got married. Nothing current within the last year. And she still acts like they were just talking every day when she knows that they weren't. That's the biggest lie of all. And all she wants people to do is to be reminded of that moment. And then to try to have people feel guilty about it. And look at this man's demeanor here. Look at his facial expression here. Y'all see the sadness behind those glasses. Realizing and then there's nothing I could do. Don't you think people are feeling guilty and feeling, sad and upset already at the idea when they were there, they couldn't do anything? No matter what they all wanted to do to help, there was nothing that could be done. Unless you have the healing power to put back an artery or and a internal jugular vein back together, there's nothing you could have done. And he feels that pain. He feels the sadness of that. And you see it is written all over his face. And all Candace wants to continue to do is to have people feel guilt and shame. She wants people to be angry with her. And they refuse to go down that well. Turning Point USA, y'all need to stop responding to Candace Owens. Let her say whatever the hell she want to say and then document it. And if she continues to do what she's doing, that's going to bring forth more defamatory, derogatory statements, accusations, more damage, more tortious interference, sue her. And let that be done. Do a class action lawsuit. Y'all all come together and just do one big lawsuit. Sue her. It'll be harder to beat. Imagine if Seth Dillon, Josh Hammer, Benny Johnson, Laura Loomer, all those that got the death threats, all those she keeps insinuating has something to do with this. Imagine if they all came together and did one big class action lawsuit here. They just came together and they just did one huge lawsuit against her. And Candace LLC, Candace Owens, the LLC, and Georgetown Inc. Like the McCrones are doing. And imagine they do all of this same time she got McCrone lawsuit going. She wouldn't be able to defend herself with it because she keeps putting out evidence every time she opens her mouth and does a video or does a post. 2 men have already been charged. One is facing 12 counts of the death threats because they're being influenced by Candace Owens and a neo-Nazi. And she refuses to stop on her own. So apparently it's going to take the persuasion of a lawsuit to get her to understand that no one is playing with your ass anymore, Candace. No one is playing with you anymore. Stop responding to her. Let her be out on that limb to hang dry on her own. Her and her 5 million candy asses. Gather your evidence and file a lawsuit against her. He said exactly what needed to be said in this. The next response needs to be in writing to the court. Because you can't do this all day with Candace. She wants people to keep giving her content. Don't give her content. Take her to court. That's it. It's as simple as that. At this point, this is where we are. Well, it's time for people to understand. Your free speech does not mean you get to infringe upon the rights of others. These people deserve to live in peace and not have to worry about their lives being taken or threatened or harmed or doxxed or harassed or bullied or stalked, or you're interfering with their business, their ability to make money to take care of their family. Because you're mad, you're evil, you're soulless. Okay, we'll take it to court. The end. Nothing scares Candace more than the thought of her losing millions of dollars. Candace, God knows how to sit you down to where you're going to lose a lot more than that. And you don't want that. And I'm not wishing that on her. But she's not trying to learn the old-fashioned way. And that's simply because people are saying, listen, you need to stop. You need to cut this out. Who does she listen to? Other than the devil. Look at the pain you causing people here. I've never met this man a day in my life. I don't even think I said his last name correct. And I can see the pain in his face and in his eyes. She's lost her humanity. Nothing she's doing is necessary or factual or anything. It's just pure evil and disgusting.
When we got to the hospital. But don't say that because I'm observing, psychologists know you can't even get in somebody's head when they're on the couch. And yet you're going to judge people on video from afar? Save it. You're adding pain to people who had enough pain.
That's right.
Next time I'll tell you what I really think.
Y'all.
My young adult sons, he expressed.
I wanted to, because Milk Bar got hit with a copyright strike today. Before we get into Candace's video, I want to give a shout out to Milk Bar TV and play a couple of his videos. The first one he has is of an interview that Tucker Carlson recently did with Nick Fuentes. So it was my understanding that they didn't like each other, but okay, whatever. I don't really follow them like that. Like, I've done a couple Nick videos when he goes off on Candace. I enjoy that. Anytime Nick Fuentes goes snap off on Candace Owens, I am here for it. Yeah, I am. But I don't know about his beef with anybody else, and I don't really listen to Tucker Carlson like that either. So I have no idea. But I wanted to play this because he posted it up today. And it's not long. It's relatively short. And we're going to get to the next video and then her video. So it's just going to go. I'm going to play the videos back to back to back. All right, let's get to it.
My young adult sons, he expressed some anti-Semitic takes on history that maybe Hitler's motives for wanting to be rid of the Jews weren't so wrong, even if how he went about it was evil. And so I'd like to know where he's getting these lies. I've heard a little bit about the Groypers from Not the Bee. I'd never heard that term before. So my question to you is this. Do you know some of the names of the influencers who are taking advantage of the conservative youth movement? I want to read
sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, so thank you. So first of all, I do know the names. I'm not going to repeat them because that only makes them and their little irrelevant circle bigger.
Nick Fuentes, thank you for doing this.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I wanted to meet you. I
For
thought
a
you
long
were
time.
a Fed. I
I thought you were a Fed.
I was a Fed.
Yeah.
I'm not a Fed. But whatever. I don't care what people
Yeah, we
think.
showed each other a badge as we know well.
Wait,
And conservatives, we do something that's totally crazy. We say,
what did I just watch? That was a snippet, y'all. I'm not gonna watch that whole thing, but that was a snippet of them two. What he went on his show, and that was it. Oh man, they thought they were fed. Oh God! All right, let's go on to this. Is Milk Bar TV. He posted this yesterday. Past conservative Candace Owens describes current leftist Candace Owens. Yeah, because she's a hypocrite and soulless.
and conservatives, we do something that's totally crazy. We say, maybe it's me. I have a problem. Maybe I have the power to fix it. Maybe internally I can fix this. What can I do to change my circumstances? Liberals, when they have a problem, they look outwardly. They look externally. They say, I have a problem. Who can I blame, right?
So if anything happens to me, you guys will know exactly who it is that has been making my life a living hell over the past couple of years. People that are trying to bankrupt me, trying to bankrupt me and my family, that are threatening us.
You can't be bankrupt. You're worth $200 million plus. Stop it. You didn't consider that when you were suing USA Today or that apartment complex where you chose to live with mold for 6 months. You know, that deadly mold you created by leaving the doors and windows open while the air was running. Candace, did you ever pay that judgment out? Let's talk about the court costs from the High Court of Australia that you've been ordered to pay. Have you paid that judgment? Don't make me have to look it up, girl. You know I will.
Sue us. Everything that Kanye said was so real. Okay. I'm now at that point where you look back and you go, man, Kanye was right. He was really saying something about what it takes to leave, you know, to fight for custody of your own soul.
This is the way the leftist mind operates.
All right, so Frank Turek just called out Candace
hold
Owens.
on.
And let me just say this.
We already saw that, so I'm going to go to the next one.
Charlie loved this country.
Okay, yeah. He's
All right, you guys.
There we go. So now we're getting to Candace. I heard she got chewed up in the chat. Oh, man. I went into the chat while she was live for a few minutes in all caps and was like, where's that gag order? You know, and, you know, I made a couple other comments. I'm sure if you all watched the replay on it. Did she ever turn on the chats to her chat replay on her videos? But I left a couple of messages. Candace, stop pretending like you're not seeing those comments. Don't sit here and act like you don't see the comments flying. You know who the candy asses and the bots are versus real people leaving real comments and asking real questions here. I wasn't even rude. Can y'all believe it? I just left it in all caps because everyone else is flying off with comments and it moves so fast. And I'm like, if these bots get to flood the chat, then I have to put mine in all caps so it can stand out. But I wasn't even rude. I wasn't rude. I was, you know, professional. Candace, you suck ass. All right, let's move on.
So here's what's going on today. Turning Point USA has issued a statement, a couple of statements actually.
Y'all please stop.
For one, they say the reason that Mikey McCoy walked away so swiftly after Charlie got shot is because Charlie himself told Mikey to do that. Charlie somehow drilled into Mikey McCoy's mind exactly what he should do in that circumstance. Are you buying that?
Yeah.
Any buyers of that?
Yes. It's called having a security plan. Every company has some sort of security plan in place. Candace, either you're not that smart or you really are just gone. You're not here with us on Earth. You know, no one will stop you if you want to leave. Bye, girl. Can't make this up. Oh my God. Yes. Who doesn't have safety protocols in their company? If you're self-employed, and let's say you work from home, you work for yourself, don't you have some sort of a fire evacuation route outside of your house? Like the house catches on fire, here are the exits, the windows. I know exactly where to go to get out of here, depending on where it's coming from. People still put together fire evacuation plans for their homes, especially if you have kids. Y'all grab this stuff here. Y'all get the dog. We out this window. That's it. Every company has security and safety protocols and measures put in place for a reason. What do you mean, do we believe it? Yes, because it was a company trying to protect the CEO, its employees. Doesn't matter where they are on the totem pole. Yeah. It's a safety measure. It's a safety protocol. What are you talking about, girl?
I'd like to know, because if there are, I'd like to inform you.
Holy
Didn't want to
Jesus.
say it this way, but I am in fact a Nigerian princess. I am stranded currently on an island.
Well, we're gonna
I'm going to
leave
need you to send your credit card details right now so I can return home. And if you do, I will transfer you $1 million when I get back to my kingdom. Frank Turek is also being added into the mix. He is telling me plus other conspiracy theorists to shut up unless we have the facts. Okay, Frank, challenge accepted. Let's learn some more facts today. Lastly, in case you missed it while I was away, they infiltrated our book club. Our book club has gone viral. My one safe place. I only had one safe space, and it was my book club. And the Zionists are now there. And they say, you guessed it, I am going crazy. Welcome back to Candace.
Girl, you been crazy.
Thanks.
Yeah, okay.
Charlie and I freaked out because we were convinced that we had somehow manifested that. I'm aware. I received tons of emails. This goes against Christian doctrine. This was 2018. I was not a Catholic, and I think it's important to discuss that and why we thought we manifested that, because it is extremely relevant to what took place thereafter.
In 2018, wasn't she a Christian? What do you mean you weren't a Catholic? How does that automatically mean you were a Christian? Is she serious? Yeah, hold on.
I had mentioned to you all, honestly, that something was happening in April of 2018. A lot of things actually were happening in April of 2018. But of course, hindsight is 2020. And I'm going to share some things with you. I don't know what everything means, but I know that it means something. Back when I did my initial...
Girl, it's the year of our Lord 2025. Can you come to 2025, please? And stop living in 2020 or 2018.
Tribute video to Charlie. Some people took issues theologically when I said that the day that Kanye West tweeted, I love the way Candace Owens thinks, Charlie and I freaked out because we were convinced that we had somehow manifested that. I'm aware. I received tons of emails. This goes against Christian doctrine. This was 2018. I was not a Catholic, and I think it's important to discuss that.
I was not a Catholic. What does that have to do with you being a Christian? You mean to tell me you're not a Christian if you're not a Catholic? Is it for real? Am I taking this wrong? Am I mishearing something? What the hell? You gotta be. Hold on a second. What does being a Catholic have to do with anything? There are a lot of Christians who aren't Catholics. What does that mean? Yeah, I'm beyond. First, she's saying that Charlie's dead spirit is coming to her in her vision. Then she won't stop, salivating over him because obviously she has some sort of affinity for him that was beyond just a friendship brother type thing. And then she doesn't talk about her husband. Does he even have a voice in that household? George Farmer, are you there? Can you wave a red flag and let us know you're alive? It's okay, bro. You don't have to be in there alone. Anytime you want to leave, you can just leave. Just leave. I don't even think he has a say-so in that household. There is no way you're going to be another man's wife and then obsess over another whole man for 6 weeks going on 7 weeks like this. And your husband is okay with this. You can't make this up. And she's sitting here talking about, I was a Catholic at that time. I was not Catholic. Look at this. Do you need to be Catholic to be Christian? Oh, Jesus, help the jury. Oh, okay.
Why we thought we manifested
make this up.
Because it is extremely relevant to what took place thereafter. I have to explain that moment to you. As I showed you yesterday, Charlie was having a lot of vivid dreams that he said he had throughout his entire life, that he was going to die in a really tragic, quick way. But especially in April, he was having vivid dreams that something big was about to happen. This is in the weeks leading up to the tweet. Okay. Full stop. Charlie.
The text doesn't say he was going to die in a quick way. He just said that he would not be alive to see the company, come to completion. But I mean, honestly, who starts a company for it to only last a short period of time? I don't think that type of company like that was meant to be temporary either. But that's not what the text said. What is... Now she's just making stuff up with this tweed jacket on.
Knew, and I felt that we were on the brink of something big. Okay, you have to remember, we were young. I'm a lot older than Charlie. I was Charlie 24 at the time, maybe even 23 years old at the time. And we were doing the Fox News gambit, every show on Fox News. But I was really just focused on BLM, Black Lives Matter. I felt they were lying to Black Americans and it was going to harm us. Neither one of us was very well known at this time. We had just kind of gotten together the November before. And it is just a fact that we were listening to Kanye West music every day. I mean, literally every day, especially the song Power. Okay.
Yeah, she said they had just gotten together. And I don't mean to keep pausing this like this, but it's disturbing the terminology and the way she's phrasing this stuff to me is you didn't get together. Okay. I would highly doubt he would phrase it that way. He hired you to work for Turning Point USA. He built the company, did he not? Was she ever a co-owner of Turning Point? It's my understanding he hired her. When did they ever get together? You can't make this stuff up. He hired her, right? That's his company he created. He just hired her into the role. So, what do you mean? What? I
was telling Charlie explicitly, we have to get to Kanye West. I can tell by his music. This is what I'm saying to Charlie. I know these lyrics inside and out. This person does not want to be a part of the system. If we can get to Kanye, I think he'll join my Blexit movement. I got to wake up Black Americans to this scam that they're using our race to control our emotions, which now to me seems so molecular because I see how much bigger the issue is. But I just knew that Kanye West was not a part of the simulation, so to speak, and that the song Power, as Kanye said, is a battle cry to be yourself because of the lyrics. And I have this old text that I'm going to show you from Charlie. This is April 13th, 2018. This is what I said to him, just so you can kind of get the vibe of what was going on. I said, yo, Kanye West writing a...
Thank you, Camille. I kind of figured, okay, he hired her and brought her on. So she makes it seem like she helped to create the company. Like every time she says something beyond that, it comes off like she's the co-founder. That's a difference in that. That means the company was already founded and he was able to hire you on. I just, Jesus Christ.
Philosophy book called Break the Simulation. We need him, Charlie. He is Blexit AF. And Charlie wrote back, I love Kanye. He's my soul brother. I will find a way to him. I promise we have to. It's crazy to look at that and realize that he's about to tweet us, about to tweet me. So there was this incredible buildup and we felt this palpable energy, a shifting almost that we kept discussing in all the messages. We're like, something's happening in April. Something's happening. And then on April 16th, Mike Cernovich, you might be familiar with him, he does this series of tweets, having not spoken to me or Charlie about how we were feeling, saying that he was speaking to a lot of his friends who could feel that there was some sort of an energy shift happening. So you imagine, we're like, what? There is something definitely happening here. How could Mike Cernovich randomly be tweeting this series of tweets? It shocked me. So I sent those tweets to Charlie. I'm going to show you that now. These are from Mike Cernovich. He has since deleted these tweets, but you can ask him. He wrote, a change in energy. This is Mike Cernovich. A change in energy, which stuns high consciousness. People does not mean bad. It simply means that it's cosmic.
Why are there never any dates or times in her stuff? Did she print this stuff? Where are the date and time stamps? This is a text message or what? You got hearts and exclamation points, and where are the timestamps on this? I know. Shout out to Jay Witt. He asked about this earlier today. I don't know what type of phone she has because we all know Candace doesn't understand how cell phones work. But shouldn't you see date and timestamps here? I'm just, I have date and timestamps on my phone, my text messages. I don't know what the hell she's using. You will see a timestamp above or next to each message. Wouldn't you? What kind of phone is this?
A paradigm is shifting, something is happening, and that people get angry at me shows the shift. Why care? The energy manifests itself in different ways. He goes on to say several high consciousness people I've spoken to independently told me about feeling a shift in energy. Something is going on. It happened 2 to 3 weeks ago. I'm not talking politics or elections. It's much bigger. Energy shift. I saw this and I obviously screenshot it. I sent to the tweets to, well, not screenshot, I just sent the tweets to Charlie. And I said, Charlie, what the F? I had a bad potty mouth in 2018 going through these tweets. I realized that. I don't swear nearly as much or at all anymore. And then Charlie said, yup, we felt it too. Remember, I told you the dreams got darker. Again,
you don't have to swear. You curse the land and children of different countries. You sit here and invoke pain and misery on people. I mean, that's worse than just saying shit. You won't hear me curse the land that someone lives upon, or generations of children here. That is much worse. Or talk about how a dead person is coming to you in a vision. You know, these unfamiliar spirits and stuff you having, your witchcraft moments. That's worse than just saying damn. You can't make this stuff up.
I'm painting a picture here of what was going on. We're going to get deeper here on what transpired.
Oh.
On the eve before Kanye West tweeted us, again, we are still in April. This is April 20th. The evening before Kanye West tweets me, Charlie messages me and he says, I'm on a run and I'm blasting Kanye West and we're on the brink of something big. And like, this is our time. Let me show you that tweet. Night before. I'm listening to Kanye and just running my streets. Are you ready for the war that's coming? We're going to fight. We're going to win. They will lose. And I said, so exciting. It's our time. He said, yes. And then the next morning, as you can see, I woke up to news of the tweets.
One date on here. Good Lord. April 21st, 2018 at 28 a.m.? They look like 9:28 or 9:29 a.m., something like that. Please pick up.
Please pick up because I was shaking. And then Charlie wrote back and said, I am freaking the F out. When I said to you guys, you had to be there, we were certain we had manifested. It was kind of freaky. That's the right word. We were freaking out going, how is this real? How did we know what is happening right now in the world? And yeah, Kanye sent this now infamous tweet. I love the way Candace Owens thinks. I want you to know this. Everything for Charlie and I changed in a blink of an eye in that moment.
Yeah, because you wanted to get Kanye West's attention because he was a wide-known celebrity. And you knew he had said some things that would be controversial, but probably something you could align yourself with. Candace, how do we all know that you did not plan this? You targeted a celebrity that you knew had, and I don't blame everything Kanye says and does on his mental disorders, but he does have some mental disorders. And you aligned yourself with someone that had a huge platform. And you rode his coattails until he recognized you. But yet, where are you at when he's having these spasms and saying all this weird stuff like, slavery was an option. It was a choice. Sorry. Slavery was a choice. You can't make this stuff up. The idea and the definition of slavery goes against it, the idea of it or the definition of the word choice. So no, it wasn't a choice. But yet and still, she ignored all of that just so she can attach herself to someone that was infamous. You can't make this up. I'm not saying Catholics aren't Christians. I'm not saying Catholics aren't Christians. Let me be clear. I'm saying that Catholics are not the only Christians. She's trying to say I was not Catholic at the time. That's not the same as saying I was not Christian at the time. You could be a Christian and be a Protestant or be Baptist or be Kojic, AME, CME. So being a Catholic is not the only path to being a Christian. And that's how she makes it sound when she says that I was not Catholic at the time. But she claimed to have been a Christian at the time in 2018. That's all I'm saying. If she was a Christian at the time, profanity or not. I mean, why not just say I was not a Christian at the time? I mean, I don't understand. I get she's, now Catholic, but that's not the only path to being a Christian, is by way of being a Catholic. And here she is talking about rabbis drinking Christians' blood. Like, you can't make this stuff up.
And retrospectively, it would never be the same again. It was indeed a paradigm shift. I mentioned to you guys yesterday that I remember that we both watched Scott Adams. I did not know who he was at this time. Again, I was very green and I'm not an overtly political person. So I didn't know who Scott Adams was, but I remember vividly watching him draw on a board and explain to his very many followers that something much bigger had taken place and that people needed to pay attention to this tweet for almost cosmic reasons. Let's take a listen to what Scott Adams said on that day.
What did he tweet? He tweeted, "I like the way Candace Owens thinks." 7 words. And he ripped a hole in reality with 7 words. Because Kanye is supposed to be over here. And Candace is supposed to be over here. And they're not ever supposed to say the other one said something, right? All right? That's not supposed to happen. But Kanye did it anyway. Kanye knows history doesn't repeat. He's not a prisoner of the mind. He knows that the problem is not the solution. Whatever you want to say about Kanye's politics, and I don't even know what his preferred politics would be. I'm not even sure what party he would run for it if he ran for president at this point. Whatever else you want to say about him, and I don't know enough about his actual, management skills or political ability, but
I'm going to
he did
a little bit.
Intentionally to pull me and Charlie apart. Now I'm going to tell you how I remember it in no particular order. Okay. I things retrospectively that from that moment onward, Charlie and I were assigned handlers. Okay. This is an expression that Kanye used to say, I have a handler. I thought that he was just saying that. I thought that he was referring to just Hollywood. I now very much believe that I have had handlers since 2018 and that things were done intentionally to pull me and Charlie apart. Now I'm going to tell you how I remember it in no particular order. Okay. I tweeted back at Kanye and I said, please take a meeting with us. And before I could hear directly from Kanye's people, I heard from David Horowitz of the Freedom Center. He's the one that first invited me when I was going viral on YouTube to speak at his conference. You should also know that he is the father to Andreessen Horowitz, the one that Bibi Netanyahu is insisting should, or stepfather to. He wants Andreessen Horowitz to be a part of this group that buys TikTok because, and this is relevant, they think it's important for warfare, psychological warfare in the future.
No. It could just be a business move. Candace, I'm not even on TikTok, so I'm going to tell y'all right now, I don't really care. But you're trying to make it seem like the purchase of a company is all about psychological warfare. That could be said about anyone for any reason, such as Candace Owens LLC or Georgetown Inc. That could be some psychological warfare with that. You have a company. Is that not your business, Candace? Georgetown Inc. and Candace Owens LLC? Those are your businesses, correct? We could say that you created these businesses for psychological warfare. See, anything you can say, I can say better and just flip it back on you, Candace Owens. But that's what you're not prepared for. You don't think about how these words can come back on you. How this stuff can be applied to you. How people can say the same thing about you. You can't make this up. Psychological warfare with TikTok.
It's relevant.
No, it's not.
He was very nice in his message to me, said, oh, my son knows Kanye, and I would like to facilitate that meeting. Suddenly they get Eric Weinstein involved, and he reaches out when he pretends that he wants to be a friend to me. He's a bad person. I can tell you that right away. And I learned that very quickly. But at the time, Charlie and I, we were pro-Israel. That's, I think, kind of relevant. And we were just so amazed by the tweet that we thought all of these people, like this was just our moment, as in they really did just want to help. Another player in this was Rick Rubin. Yeah, the big music industry. Rick Rubin also got into the mix and wanted to facilitate certain meetings. I took it again as a sign of help. On the Turning Point USA side, Tyler Boyer, who I could do a whole episode on. It's actually, he's more so relevant that I can't fit him into just one episode. He was with the only person that was with Charlie before. He introduced him to every person that Charlie knows. He starts hiring a bunch of people, telling Charlie that we need to hire bigger and more professional money raisers, PR people like Andrew Colvett, you name it. And it feels like at every moment there were forces that were trying to tell us this is not allowed to happen. Kanye's handlers are telling him, Kanye's got a
Who's your handler, Candace Owens? Who's your handler, girl? Who would her handler be? And narrow it down to one name. Who would her handler be? Because that would mean that you're implying that you were under some level of control. And you went out and always said no one controls you, right? Because free speech and all. Who would your handler be? She's just throwing out names and insinuations on people. Like I said, Turning Point USA needs to stop responding to her on social media and start responding to her in court. Because this is going to go on for 1,000 years if you don't do something about it. All of these people she's naming are about to be subjected to all kinds of harassment, backlash, and everything else in between because the candy asses don't read anything. You can't make this stuff up.
Team of people telling him he's not allowed to be involved in politics. And he's getting angrier and he's getting angrier about that. This is in the time of Kim Kardashian and Kanye. She wanted nothing to do with it, okay? And I've been to their house. And political friends are telling Charlie and I, don't get involved with Kanye because he's crazy. You guys are on a trajectory. Don't speak to Kanye. It's going to backfire in your face. And I'm like, no, we dreamed this. We want him to be a part of Blexit. Like, this is exactly what we wanted. At the exact same time, I felt, and you've heard the story very many times, Charlie has told it, I have told it, out of nowhere, I got this spiritual pull that I needed to go to the UK. Charlie and I had no business in the UK at all. There was no reason for us to go to the UK. There was nothing happening in the UK. I had the messages. I'm like, Charlie, we should go to the UK. I don't know why. I'm getting the vibe. We need to go to the UK. We need to go to the UK. We need to go to the UK. Like, we got to go to London. And we did in the future. But first, dealing with this sort of pressure cooker that kept happening between Kanye, me, Charlie, it was in,
okay,
I am distancing myself from politics and completely focusing on being creative. Now, that was not the most honest interpretation of things. And I reflect on it. And I'm so grateful that I called Mike Cernovich and I said, like, why is Kanye doing this? Why is he saying this? I have pictures of him standing over the guy, directing him on what he thought was cool with the logo. Like, should I drop them? And Cernovich gave me really sound advice and said, don't. You have no idea what he's going through. And I'm grateful to Cernovich for that because I now know what Kanye was going through and what that pressure is like. And when they come for your family and come for everything. And it's like, all you have to do is disavow this or disavow that.
Didn't she blame the Macrons on doing this? And they're French. They're not Jewish. She's blaming the Macrons on bankrupting her and coming for her family and blah, 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 blah. No, Candace, they're seeking justice because you keep defaming the First Lady of France, worried about whatever's going on in France, by continuously calling her a man and saying that she was born a man and purporting that to be a fact. And you're doing it with malice intent because you refuse to correct the record, despite all the evidence they've sent you. Now they're going to have to bring scientific evidence and really shut your ass down. Stop prolonging that lawsuit, girl. Stop prolonging it. Y'all are delaying that intentionally. Stop delaying it. The Macron's attorney needs to say, Yana, we're going to object to these extensions. They keep asking for extensions. How much longer do they need to add 3,000 more words? I could type a 3,000-page letter up right now if I wanted to and get it done within an hour. There are 2 or 3 attorneys on her team. So they can't give 1,000 words each and get this thing done in 2 days. Make that make sense. But she's the one that said her attorneys had been at her home for like every day for months, to the point where her kids know who one of the attorneys is. You can't make this stuff up. Stop prolonging that lawsuit.
That and everything will go back to normal. So yeah, Kanye, I totally understand it. It makes perfect sense to me why you had to say that.
Okay.
Anyways, people think about, at least in America, as Hitler. You know, he was a National Socialist, but if Hitler just wanted to make Germany great and have things run well, okay, fine. The problem is that he had dreams outside of Germany. He wanted to globalize. He wanted everybody to be German, everybody to be speaking German, everybody to look a different way. That's not, to me, that's not nationalism. So in thinking about how it could go bad down the line, I don't really have an issue with nationalism. I really don't. I think that it's okay. It's important to retain your country's identity and to make sure that what's happening here, which I think is incredibly worrisome in terms of the decrease in the birth rate that we're seeing in the UK, is what you kind of want to avoid. So I don't have anything problem. I have no problems with nationalism. It's globalism that I try to avoid.
What does that have the birth rate and all this other stuff. Yeah, did you hear her rambling on about things that she knows nothing about? And you can't make this up. Hold on.
You can engage after 18 days. I have never, it's inexplicable. I looked at him and I felt like I had already known him, and it felt exactly like seeing a sigh of relief. Like it felt like a sigh of relief. I was like, I need to go with him. 2 months later, and with that event in London far behind us, so that was in December that I met my husband, that I convinced Charlie, took his credit card and booked the flights. John and Arena made the event happen. 2 months later in February, something really strange happened. Someone, and I believe it was someone at BuzzFeed, cut a clip of a video from the Q&A portion of that UK event. This is, again, over 2 months later. And they stripped the question that was asked of me. You'll remember the scandal. What I'm about to tell you about this is crazy. Again, I was green, so I didn't understand why suddenly they were sharing a clip and they were saying that I was justifying Hitler, Adolf Hitler, killing Jews. A person asked me, Candace, you describe yourself as a nationalist. That is sometimes a dirty term because people don't like the words nationalism. And I answered by saying, well, that's because they wrongly attributed to Adolf Hitler and he wasn't a nationalist. I didn't even mention Jews at all. I'm going to actually show you what I said. And I was standing next to Charlie when I said it, which is relevant. Take a listen.
Yeah, I agree. I actually don't have any problems at all with the word nationalism. I think that it gets, the definition gets poisoned by elitists that actually want globalism. Globalism is what I don't want. So when you think about, whenever we say nationalism, the first thing people think about, at least in America, is Hitler. You know, he was a National Socialist.
Why is he your example? Stop. That's the problem, Candace. You couldn't come up with an actual example for nationalism? Why didn't you just say the definition of the word? What are you doing? Nationalism. Identification with one's own nation and support for its interest, especially to the exclusion or detriment of the interest of other nations. So you don't have a problem with nationalism when it's to the detriment or exclusion of the interest of other nations. That is the definition of the word nationalism. So why couldn't she just say what the definition is? Why did Hitler have to come up out of her mouth? Nationalism. That is us as a country focusing on our own people and our own interest first and foremost, before the interest and concerns of other nations. Sometimes we have to think that way to get our affairs in order as a nation. The end. Point blank. Mic drop. That's it. I didn't have to say Hitler at all saying that. Simple question, simple answer. Y'all see the difference? Do you understand? All she had to do was read the definition of the word and express what part of it she agrees with. I identify as an American and believe that there are many times where we need to put our own interests first and foremost as a sovereign nation. And if it means putting other interests of other countries to the back burner for a while so that we can get our affairs in order, then I believe that sometimes must be done. Don't have to talk about nobody else. I didn't have to say Hitler or any of these genocidal maniacs at all. I didn't have to say his name to say that. It seems like a matter of intelligence here, Candace, that you're lacking. Did you not know the definition of the word nationalism? Does she not understand what it is? I mean, I literally just did a Google search and then formulated a response from that based on the definition of the word. Why was that hard for her to do? She's talking about Hitler. Why? It's not necessary.
Hitler just wanted to make Germany great and have things run well. Okay, fine. Problem is that he had dreams outside of Germany. He wanted to globalize. He wanted everybody to be German, everybody to be speaking German, everybody to look a different way. That's not, to me, that's not nationalism. And thinking about
can't
how
make
it could go
this up.
bad down the line, I don't really have an issue with nationalism. I really
Oh my
don't. I think that it's okay. It's
God.
important to retain your country's identity and to make sure that what's happening here, which I think is incredibly worrisome in terms of the decrease in the birth rate that we're seeing in the
Increase
UK,
in birth rate?
is what you kind of want to avoid. So I don't have anything problem. I have no problems with nationalism. It's globalism that I try to avoid.
Oh,
With nationalism, I really nationalism. And thinking about how it could go bad down the line, I don't really have an issue with nationalism. I really don't. I think that it's okay. It's important to retain your country's identity and to make sure that what's happening here, which I think is incredibly worrisome in terms of the decrease in the birth rate that we're seeing in the UK, is what you kind of want to avoid. So I don't have anything problem. I have no problems with nationalism. It's globalism that I try to avoid.
yo, I'm not laughing at. There's no, you know what's funny is the level of stupidity. I just had to hear that. You see why I speed it up sometimes, y'all. I know y'all want me to slow it down. Oh my God. Oh my God. What did Hitler and low birth rate have to do with nationalism? Candace. Dear Lord. Y'all get your popcorn and your Kool-Aid. Candace, you're an imbecile. There is no reason for you to even bring up Hitler at all or low birth rates whatsoever. If you're asked, how do you feel about nationalism? Most times you're going to just start with the definition, the concept of the term itself, and then formulate your response on that. If you can't give specific examples to explain why you support nationalism, which is an ideology or a movement, then just stick to the actual definition of the term. This is why I said she has no investigative journalistic, concept at all. She's a bad journalist. If the internet went down for a day, she would lose her mind. I would read a book. You can't make this up. She didn't know what nationalism meant. Holy Jesus. This girl had no idea what nationalism meant. Her response was so far-paced, and you wonder why. Candace, you should be embarrassed at the buffoonery that came out of your mouth. That was the most illogical response ever. Low birth rate and Hitler and blah, blah, blah. When you could have just looked up the definition of the word and just gave the definition. You can't make this stuff up.
Now I know that these online campaigns are inorganic and that what actually happened was this was a hit. This was a hit. They pulled the clip and then a bunch of people were articles saying that I supported Adolf Hitler and that I said if Hitler had just wanted to make Germany great again, then okay, fine. That's fine. No context again. And it was like a severe cancel culture attack saying that I supported Jews being killed.
No. What culture are you a part of again? Because you weren't Catholic, I guess. And, Christianity is not a concept for you. Just Catholicism, because you're seeing this as two separate things by saying, at the time I wasn't Catholic, as opposed to just saying at the time I wasn't a Christian. I wasn't saved. And then you give this dumb, idiotic answer to a simple question about your thoughts on nationalism. And as opposed to you reading the definition of that word, you talk about, I don't have a problem with it, because Hitler and low birth rate and, the only thing is he wanted everybody else to learn German. And, from that perspective, I guess, okay, fine. But, when I think about you guys' low birth rates here in UK, I don't have a problem with nationalism. It's globalism I have a problem with. It's like you're soundbiting words and you have no idea what they mean. You can't make this up.
In the Holocaust. It was insane. Again, Charlie and I were very new and this was very scary. We were kind of coming upon a high point and going, why do people want to destroy us? We don't know what this is. And at the same time, the Simon Wiesenthal Center, and this is, again, another interesting piece of this, issued a statement against my comments. Simon Wiesenthal Center, we're like the official Holocaust people. And this girl is obviously supporting Hitler. It was heavy. It was it was so heavy. And I laugh in retrospect because I thought it was all real. I didn't realize this was a matrix of people who wanted to pull me and Charlie apart. That's what they wanted to do. They wanted to put pressure on him. So donors would pressure him and be like, hey, she's supporting Hitler. It's such a bad look. And then they would find me.
No, it's such a bad look because she's an idiot. Candace, good grief. Who's your handler again? You seem to be a prison of your own mind. Like you're your own prisoner. You know, because you lack knowledge, girl. How did you not know the definition of nationalism or even globalism for that matter? Does she sound like she knew the definition of globalism? Because I'm not picking that up. She told the UK y'all low birth rates and all, you know. I'm okay with nationalism. You can't make this stuff up.
Me broken and scared and upset and going, I don't know how Jewish people could think that I would support Hitler. And that's what I was saying. And this amazing thing happened that despite this, that the hand that came out to me and offered me a job was PragerU. PragerU offered me a job. This is early 2019. And it was like, hey, like, we know that you don't believe these things. And at the time I thought they were just being friends. I don't know what to think anymore. Marissa Straight, the CEO, has never shied from telling people that she is, you know, in the IDF. She worked intelligence in the IDF, right, in Israel. And I took the job with them, and Charlie and I still climbed together, but we were also working apart at the same time. We kept doing the campuses and the campus tours, but I was officially working for PragerU. And one of the first things that happened, almost the way it feels to me, was like, we can save you, but here's what you have to do, was Marissa took me to the Simon Wiesenthal Center. And again, I was so grateful.
Name dropping all these people.
That has shocked me about Charlie and Turning Point USA is just how many military characters were surrounding him.
Oh, here we go.
Even in September 10th, people that were in the hospital, right? Let's just, take a look at the chart that we have put together. And this is in an early phase, but it's interesting at the very least, okay?
No, it's not.
We've got Frank Turek. And Frank Turek, if we want to go through this, we got Andrew Colvett, Rob McCoy, Mikey McCoy, Tyler Boyer. Let's start with Frank Turek, if we have that card. And Frank Turek, again, has been honest, former officer in the U.S. Navy. And then he turned to Christian apologetics. He has two sons that are in the military, fly planes, as well as one of his son's spouses that's in the military.
Who came up with Christian apologetics? Candace, you can't just say what? Turning to Christian apologetics? How is that a description of someone's job? Like, as far as his previous work positions, he was a former officer in the U.S. Navy. Do you know that there are Christians in the Navy, Candace? Do you know that the United States military, our armed forces, have actual people who are Christians serving in the military? You're about to go here with the military, and I'm going to go straight ham on you. So I guess let the games begin.
Again, he's never lied about this. Andrew Colvett, by the way, if you don't know, I didn't know. I don't think Charlie knew. Certainly not when Tyler brought him or when he got hired.
So
his brother,
in the Navy.
Captain Kurt Colvett, is in the military. His cousin, Captain Robert Colvett, is high up in the military. So that's...
Yeah, all these people in the military accomplished something except you, who did not know the definition of the word nationalism versus globalism and something, Hitler, low birth rates in the UK. Why in the hell are you even mentioning Hitler's name in the UK? If you understood the historical context of World War II, you would not have said his name. And now you're sitting here pointing out people serving in the United States military as if that's a bad thing, as if they have not fought to protect your dumb ass who refuses to look up the definition of the word nationalism. I told y'all I'm on one tonight. They're protecting our borders to ensure that you have the right to do all this nonsense you're doing right now. Wear your husband's tweed jacket, put your hair in braids, and say nonsense all over a platform where you have over 5 million people listening to you say blah, blah, blah. And Here you are attacking people who, because they served in the military. You don't want to sit here and send your goons after them. I'm going to tell you that right now. It will not be in the candy ass's best interest to go after these people she's naming that served in the military. That's the last. Y'all don't want that. They don't play that shit. That's the last thing they're going to let y'all do is sit here and cyber harass and bully them. I've never seen someone sit here and attack whole groups at a time based on your ethnicity or what you've done in your life as an accomplishment. There's a duty for someone to go out and serve their country. And you're knocking the very idea of that by trying to imply something's wrong with them working for Turning Point USA. Heifer, you are out of your mind. And I am on one tonight.
Interesting. Very interesting to me, at least, because I just am like, oh, that's kind of something I was not aware of. I thought he was just a PR guy.
You can't make this up.
Someone that was working PR and was found and things, went forward. Obviously, Rob McCoy, another pastor, but a pastor with a very strong military background. Pastor Rob McCoy, his father was a naval captain, Roy Edgar McCoy. But also, and this is kind of shocking, his father was also the assistant chief of staff.
This is the pastor of Charlie Kirk's. This is Charlie Kirk's pastor. This is the man that Charlie Kirk respected as his pastor, as a spiritual leader. And you are attacking him for reasons. Reasons. He was a naval captain. Thank you for your service in the military, Pastor Rob McCoy. Candace Owens, farmer, is an idiot who does not know the definition or the concept of nationalism. Remember that.
For psychological warfare in the Navy. Psychological warfare. This is the name of the game.
Warfare
and that
works.
Trajectory is increasingly interesting to me. I think we have this clip from an investigative journalist named...
That's how warfare works in the military, girl. So she knows no one that was in the military? Not one person. She can't name one person in her family. Her husband didn't serve in the military in the UK. She doesn't know anyone that served in the military. Is that what she's saying? She knows no one that went to the military. She doesn't understand how the United States military works either. Our armed forces. How we defend ourselves and certain tactics that are used to do that. Warfare does include some level of psychology. What are you talking about? This has got to be the biggest joke to mankind right now. Candace Owens. This is why I'm saying Turning Point USA should not respond to her. What exactly are you responding to at this point? Just call her an idiot and keep living and go file a lawsuit. You can't make this up.
George Webb, who speaks a little bit further about Rob, and obviously this is Mikey McCoy's family. Take a listen.
My good Lord.
McCoy does have this strange military background. He does have this strange, seemingly putting his son in there and guiding the hand for this new apostolic revival. That he is a NAR person. He is the kind of the NAR push for Charlie. Charlie was meeting with NAR. NAR were the $25 million and above donors from the Christian right. The Ziklag was the name of the organization. So all that's correct. That's correct information. And
what happened in my life after that was I went from PragerU, and you got a pastor, from the military, 2 pastors from the military there. I'm telling you, Marissa, straight military. I then went to obviously the Daily Wire, and the president at the time of the Daily Wire was also a naval intelligence officer who decided to become a pastor. That was John Lewis. And I'm like, actually, in retrospect, what are the chances that we just have so many military people that are in media?
She hasn't looked up anything. What are the chances we have so many people in the military, from military people that are in media? As if they can't come back and serve their country and go and be and get jobs in the media. Is there some sort of law that I've missed where if you served in the United States Armed Forces, you can't come back and be in the media or become a pastor? Did I miss something here? Is that a rule? Why is that strange to her? She's never been on a military base, I guess. Some bases have whole churches. There are whole communities in uniform serving as pastors and ministers in the media. Is she for real? Are you for real, Candace Owens? You don't know that people in the military can come out of the military and retire and do other things? What the heck?
Organic is this? Who's the biggest person on YouTube?
What?
Right. I just got interested. I started asking questions like, are we in a military simulation? Mr. Beast, both of his parents high up in the military. Do you think he really was just getting trillions and gazillions of views because people wanted to see somebody count to 1 million? Or is that interesting? But also, it might.
Most people don't watch him because his parents were in the military, Candace. People don't watch Mr. Beast because his parents were in the military. I didn't even know that, and I don't care. I don't care. No, I don't know if his target audience watches him because he served in the military or his parents served in the military. Not even him. This is ridiculous. This is why you're catching lawsuits. You're putting out these insinuations that connect to nothing. What does this have to do with Charlie Kirk? Let's say Mr. Beast and Charlie Kirk were best buds and they grew up together. People don't watch Mr. Beast, the YouTuber, because his parents were in the military. He could literally have a whole channel and never tell anybody that. Who cares? Why is she making this an issue? This is a sign of desperation of someone who is out of material, no content, a bad journalist. I won't even call her that because you would make people who are independent journalists like myself or even investigative journalists look real bad and sound stupid. So now you're an embarrassment to journalists. A huge embarrassment because you don't know the definition of the word nationalism. And she's sitting here soundbiting and just hoping if I say these things, these people will respond to me and then I can respond back and then we can do this back and forth and 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 back and forth until Jesus returns. And I can have content for weeks. Candace, the Macrons are suing you and I hope they win millions. Stop delaying that case. Pay the judgment you've been ordered to pay to the High Court of Australia for the government's court costs for wasting their time over there. Because they were right. You're inciting violence. You're saying things to get your base triggered up, to go out and cyber stalk and harass people, copy and paste dumb comments on people's videos. This is all you're doing, creating discord, division. You're soulless. You won't even allow Charlie Kirk to be at rest, his family to grieve and mourn. And now you're attacking everyone in Turning Point USA. Turning Point USA should not respond to Candace Owens. Don't do it. Because that's what she wants. And it's high time for people to deprive her of what she wants. I clown her all day. I don't work for Turning Point USA either. If she wants to break a law or some imaginary gag order in her mind that she thinks she's somehow held by because she wants to see herself as a part of this whole investigation and think she's more important than what she really is, let her think that by herself. Just brush her off. Like, go to corner in the wall. Go to a corner. Go sit down. Go read a book. And then when you do respond to her in the courts, like the Macrons have done. This is crazy.
Be relevant that his family's military, like high up in the military. Everywhere I looked, every time I was like, well, this person I got interested even in
Ooh, child.
Lila Rose, right? Catholic, does this whole, speaks about, and she's always been very lovely to me, speaks about the pro-life movement and
Good night, honey.
converted to Catholicism and
Good
got a
night,
story
Steve.
there. I met her through Marissa. It's kind of the same people funding both. And it was kind of interesting. Like when I would
You can't
see
make this
Lila kind of jump on the attacking the Christ is King or trying to rationalize why we shouldn't say Christ is King all the time. And she was like a lone Catholic that was doing that. And I then got super interested in her
saying
when
stuff.
and you'll learn exactly how I know that. This is what makes Andrew Colvette's why on your show? Why are you the first show she would pick? Why didn't you go on like CNN or Fox News? And I looked, and of course, yeah, you got military all over that background on the attacking the Christ is King or trying to rationalize why we shouldn't say Christ is King all the time. And she was like a lone Catholic that was doing that.
You can't make
and
this up.
I then got super interested in her when she messaged me about Andrew Tate, and she had someone on her show that was Andrew Tate's, one of the accuser's lawyers. And I was like, this has nothing to do with the pro-life movement. What are you doing? I asked her, and she's like, well, and that woman then attacked me and Tucker Carlson. I said, that's weird. Like, that's kind of random. You're supposed to be the pro-life person, and you're talking about, and you're talking to Andrew Colvette's the party to that lawsuit. You're talking to her lawyer. Why on your show? Why are you the first show she would pick? Why didn't she go on like CNN or Fox News? And I looked, and of course, yeah, you got military all over that background. And I'm going, is anything not military? I'm looking at Barry Weiss, and I'm looking into her grandfather.
All she's saying is, I'm looking into this and I'm looking into that, and I find this weird and find that weird and blah, 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 and womp, 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 and womp, womp, womp. Military. I'm looking at this, and she's not looking into anything. You don't know what she's doing before she starts her show. She sits down and she comes up with, okay, I could just say just enough about military and then focus on that and then mention a bunch of names and then see how that goes. That's what she's doing now. Let me just say a bunch of names, military, and then see how that goes. I'm sure they'll respond to me on this. Oh, this is going to drum up the internet. Oh, I'm going to break the internet on that one. That's what she's doing. Candace Owens, you're fishing for material. And you're relying on people to respond to you, to dictate your platform. You see how sometimes God will send people along to help you understand when your time is limited. Whatever you did to get to this level of fame and notoriety, it certainly wasn't based on Christ or anything, any Christian values. All I see is nothing behind those eyes, girl. Just soulless. You're sitting here attacking any and every person, bringing along division, trying to resurface pain and suffering of someone, seeing the loss of a friend, a husband, a father, a son, a brother, a nephew, an uncle, lose his life over and over and over and over again. Now you're just going full-blown attack turning point USA mode. This is the legacy that Charlie Kirk created. Why are you trying to destroy it? Your name dropping, talking about military with no point to prove at all because you can't define nationalism. And all for what? For an independent journalist named Lady Luck Club to come along and call you out on your nonsense and your buffoonery. She's fishing for material here. And I'm looking into this and looking at that. Looking at Barry Weiss and looking into her grandfather and looking. Why? Why are you looking into these people? It's not for the purposes of bringing forth any viable information that the public needs to know. That's part of journalism. See, when you look up the definition of that word, I'm sure you're not going to want to fulfill it because it involves reading and researching and being able to make sense of information. You're looking into this person, looking into that person. Same thing you did with Phil Lyman and his mother and his cousin. You're just looking into people. Why? That's cyber stalking.
And there's a story that's just incredible. Bomb thrown on at his house, and I think it's in Philly or
George
somewhere in
Farmer
maybe it's Pittsburgh.
must, care at all,
that's
y'all.
related to the casinos. I mean, the whole thing starts getting really crazy when you realize everyone's somehow attached to
Listen, I
Raytheon,
agree.
right?
George
Mr.
Foreman
Beast,
does
they're all
not
attached
care.
to Raytheon in one way or the other. And I find that to be interesting. And there's more, by the way. I'm in the early days of research here.
Wow.
And there's a lot more I'm going to present to you guys.
I believe you, Carl.
But I think we can all acknowledge that we were lied to about the 30-06, right?
No.
I know for a fact Charlie's neck was not destroyed. Certainly was not destroyed. And
What's
if
the
I'm
fact?
lying, sue me
on.
for defamation.
Yeah, because then you have to produce that fact. So please do it. Somebody sue her, because then she'll have to produce the fact. That would be documentation, Candace. Not you having a vision and looking at his neck of an unfamiliar spirit. No, you would have to produce documentation. So unless you've gotten a hold of his medical records or an autopsy report, things you should not have in your possession, I want somebody to sue her ass so she can produce the documentation. We've already seen how you conduct yourself with one defamation lawsuit. It's called stall and delay. That's all you've been doing with the Macron's lawsuit. You've lost the one you had against USA Today. You lost the one you had with a simple apartment complex. You lost the appeal with the High Court of Australia. And the only reason why you got a judgment granted to you from the other lawsuit with the Kimberly lady was because the court saw hers as a slap suit, not because of the merit. So yes, someone sue her. So then she would have to be forced to produce the exhibits, the evidence, and then we'll have to explain how the hell she got it in her possession. Yes, do it. Let that happen. Let that happen. Erica Kirk, I hope you're listening. This obsessive, soulless miscreant may have your husband's medical records and autopsy report, things she should not have if she has evidence, because that's exactly what you would need, Candace. Evidence. Yo, yeah, you would need evidence on that. His neck wasn't destroyed. You would need the autopsy report. That's confidential information. You're not even entitled to it because you're not his wife. Let that happen.
And you'll learn exactly how I know that. This is what makes Andrew Colbett's tweet explaining the conversation with the surgeon especially interesting. You remember, he's like, oh, the surgeon said,
No,
well.
interesting. No. You're supposed to have evidence. We don't care about nobody else's tweet. Don't give a damn. Skip ahead. No, someone sue her. We don't care about no tweet with no Andrew Tate, nobody else. Show the evidence of how you know that you can say for a fact that Charlie Kirk's neck was not destroyed by that bullet, because I know what I saw in that video. And I saw raw video footage. You're about to sit here and tell thousands of people they didn't see what they saw. Oh, his neck wasn't destroyed? You're going to have to prove that with medical documentation. Oh, yes. And then you're going to have to explain how the hell you got it, because you're not supposed to have that in your possession. And make sure if you do sue her, to file a motion for her to be deposed. We want her ass under oath. Get her under oath and ask her every question you could think of relative to your case. Ooh, let that happen. And please make sure that's televised. We want every news room. I want to be there. I want to see her get deposed. I want to be there in person and report on it in real time. Yep. I would go to that hearing for any deposition she's placed under. Yes, I would. Get your ass under oath, girl. Yep. You wouldn't be able to sit here and throw out hints and none of that. Because, you're not an attorney and you're not that smart. Oh, yes. Please sue her. Because Candace Owens is indicating, obviously, that she has some level of factual evidence that would have to be medical records or an autopsy report, which is confidential because HIPAA privacy laws are still a thing. Federal laws that Candace Owens does not override. HIPAA privacy laws. Yeah. Even the dead has the right to privacy of their medical information. So I would love to know how Candace Owens is purporting that to be a fact when she would need the medical documentation and evidence to prove it. Sue her, Erica Kirk. Don't respond to her on social media. Sue her. And then get a deposition out of her. And then email LadyLuckClubLLC yahoo.com. Invite to that deposition. I want to be there. You can't make this up.
He did his residency on the Air Force Base, right? He completed residency at the Keesler Air Force Medical Center in Mississippi. I think he actually might be in the Air Force from what I'm looking at. Can't confirm. Charlie's neck, he's the man of steel. And people rightly said that's not the job of the surgeon. That's kind of the job of forensics to say that. The medical examiner would be the right person to say that. By the way, who was the medical examiner? Who were the doctors? And any chance they were military? Any chance they were military? I'm just wondering. And here's what I discovered preliminarily.
So what if they were? So what if they were? Did they go to medical school? Do they have a license to practice? Did they take the certification to become a surgeon? If the answer is yes to all those questions, yes, they can be from the military and come out into the civilian world and become surgeons, licensed surgeons. That's like questioning someone who went to the military, came out, became an attorney. Are your attorneys in the military, Candace? Are your two attorneys, the Chandler boy and the other lady, are they military? Are their parents from the military? We can ask these same questions of everyone in your life. What about George? George doesn't even seem to have say-so in his household at this point. I just can't imagine her being submissive. Candace Owens can't be submissive at this point. I don't see it. Unless he's in on it and they both know this is just a show and they're treating it like one big fucking joke. And yes, I am using profanity. I'm also not cursing the land or the children of Israel either. You can't make this up. Excuse me. You can't make this up.
Yes. Okay. The doctor who worked on Charlie was Dr. Lee.
Let me go back.
Interesting. There's lawyers. And I was like, this has nothing to do with the pro-life movement. What are you doing? I asked her. And she's like, well, and that woman then attacked me and Tucker Carlson. I said, that's weird. Like, that's kind of random. You're supposed to be the pro-life person. And you're talking about, and you're talking to Andrew Colvet's, the party to that lawsuit. You're talking to her lawyer. Why? On your show? Why are you the first show she would pick? Why doesn't she go on like CNN or Fox News? And I looked, and of course, yeah, you got military all over that background. And I'm going, is anything not military? I'm looking at Barry Weiss and I'm looking into her grandfather, and there's a story that's just incredible. A bomb thrown on
let me know
at his house, and I think it's in Philly or somewhere, and maybe it's Pittsburgh, and that's related to the casinos. I mean, the whole thing starts getting really crazy when you realize everyone's somehow attached to Raytheon, right? Mr. Beast, they're all attached to Raytheon in one way or the other, and I find that to be interesting.
Oh my God.
And there's more, by the way. I'm in the early days of research here, and there's a lot more I'm going to present to you guys. But I think we can all acknowledge that we were lied to about the 30-06, right? I know for a fact Charlie's neck was not destroyed. Certainly was not destroyed.
She said it. Y'all saw that? She said, I know for a fact his neck was not destroyed. This is why she catches lawsuits, because she's trying to phrase it as a question. And then said, I know for a fact, just like she said, it is a fact that Brigitte Macron was born a man. And then wants to get mad and offended when somebody sues the out of her. Here you go, right here.
Interesting. And there's more, by the way. I'm in the early days of research here, and there's a lot more I'm going to present to you guys. But I think we can all acknowledge that we were lied to about the 30-06, right? I know for a fact Charlie's neck was not destroyed.
I know for a fact. Erica Kirk, you're welcome. It's right here in screen on screen. This is why I turn on the captions for people like Candace Owens. I know for a fact Charlie's neck was not destroyed. First of all, who said it was destroyed? Secondly, what proof do you have to purport this as a fact? Who said it was destroyed? That's the first question that would be asked. Where did you get that information from? And secondly, how do you know for a fact that Charlie's neck was not destroyed? What evidence do you have to prove that to be a fact? Do you understand how this goes? Like, she would fail under a deposition under oath. She would be so jacked up. You can't even make this stuff up. Candace is watching YT Creators. That's how she knew about the bullet and neck. I think Stephen Gardner covered that on his channel after speaking with Turning Point USA. Yeah, but they would need medical documentation and evidence. Ian Carroll. Does Ian Carroll have a copy of his autopsy? Because that's confidential information. That's confident. Do they not understand that an autopsy is considered medical records? And HIPAA privacy laws protect his medical information? Does she not know that? I know for a fact Charlie's neck was not destroyed at the 28-minute, 30-second mark on the money. While you got the smug look on your face, y'all, that's that's gonna be my thumbnail. This is gonna be my thumbnail right here. This smug look. Yep. 28-minute, 30-second mark. This is my thumbnail. I know for a fact Charlie's neck was not destroyed. That's gonna be the thumbnail to this video. Because Candace Owens is implying, since this is a fact, that she has some evidence to support this. Irrefutable medical evidence to back this up. That's what you're saying when you say this. You say you know for a fact. You're not opining. Candace Owens is still not that smart. You're not smart, girl. If you were, you would go on through the Macron's case if you knew what you were doing with that. But we all know you don't. You're delaying it. All these extensions for 3,000 words and stuff. You lied to people saying you're not going to seek. You don't want it being dismissed, but then you're seeking dismissal. Even if that's a possibility, why even file it if you're not trying to have it dismissed? Yeah, this girl is, and oh my God, you are such a narcissist, Candace. You're such a narcissist.
Certainly was not destroyed. And if I'm lying, sue me for defamation. And you'll learn exactly how I know that. This is what makes Andrew Colbett's tweet explaining the conversation with the surgeon especially interesting. You remember, he's like, oh, the surgeon said, well, I would have taken down a moose. And but Charlie's neck, he's the man of steel. And people rightly said that's not the job of the surgeon. That's kind of the job of forensics to say that. The medical examiner would be the right person to say that. By the way, who was the medical examiner? Who were the doctors? And any chance they were military? Any chance they were military? I'm just wondering. And here's what I discovered preliminarily. The answer is yes, okay? The doctor who worked on Charlie was Dr. Lee Trotter. And regarding Dr. Lee Trotter, he did his residency on the Air Force Base, right? He completed a residency at the Keesler Air Force Medical Center in Mississippi. I think he actually might be in the Air Force from what I'm looking at. Can't confirm that entirely, but there's a person who matches his name, age, description, living where he's living, who is actually in the Air Force. And he also, for a fact...
Hold on. You're putting out stuff about people and you're saying he completed a residency at Keesler Air Force Medical Center in Mississippi. He is also a pilot, likely in the Air Force. You can't even say for a fact. You put on here likely in the Air Force. Because if she was assured of that, it would say he is a pilot in the Air Force, in the U.S. Air Force. What is she act like that people in the military can't have jobs? You can't make this stuff up.
is a pilot, so it would track that he was in the military. That's interesting. The medical examiner, Dr. Deidre Smith Amaro, who that would be the appropriate person to have had a conversation with, also someone that in my dream, Charlie told me I should look into. She's a major in the Army.
Ooh. Here she go with this dream again, Charlie, who's deceased. You know, because unfamiliar spirits and all. Candace, how do you say you're a witch without saying you're a witch? You can't make this up. Bragging about talking to deceased persons in your visions and dreams. Dr. Amar is a major in the Army. Why are you sitting here targeting these people like this? So what? Thank you for serving our country.
She's also from a major corporation. She's from the Erickson family, the Erickson Boyd Corporation.
What does any
her
of this
family.
have to do with Charlie Kirk's death?
She tells people that she is a direct descendant of Leif Erikson. This brings us into like Swedish Freemason stuff, okay? And I'm sure, like I'm certain she's an Erickson, like 1,000% certain that she is an Erickson. She's also now a lesbian.
That she is an Erickson.
Why was she just made a
Why
major?
you want? Stop, man. You she pointed out her sexuality. Why do you care? Why do you care?
The Army. Why did they need this woman in? Why were people researching these doctors and this specific medical examiner? What the heck is going on? There's more. There's a lot more that I haven't covered, but I'm painting a picture here for you. Okay. I think the military industrial complex that Eisenhower forewarned of, the military industrial complex that shot JFK to maintain power, has created a veneer of reality for us. And it is not so, right? We are under a veil. I think that these corporations, people that are put the head of these corporations and we're told that they're
First, Candace, tell us who your handlers are. Did she ever say who the handlers are? Did she ever address who the handlers are? Because I haven't heard that yet. Then she talks about everything's fake and gay. Who are the handlers? She hasn't covered that yet, but yet she said it is a fact that Charlie's neck was not destroyed, to which she would need medical records and documentation to actually support something like that, despite HIPAA privacy laws. Who is the handler? We haven't heard that part yet. Yeah, hit that like button.
Geniuses, or if they're just so successful, like Mr. Beast. These are military operations, is what I'm signaling to you guys.
She must be jealous of Mr. Beast.
Be aware of that. I think this military industrial complex has had a lot of actors. We have military grade actors, some of which I think were there when Charlie got shot. Weird behavior from people. The first people to get booked. It was hard to find a student that spoke to a mainstream media news organization on that day. Something's not right. There are too many military players.
Candace, who are your handlers? Because they did not give you enough books to read. You know, because you don't know what nationalism means and all. Something with low birth rate. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. We're still waiting on you to tell us who your handlers are. Who are the handlers? That's going to be in the subject of the thumbnail with the caption at the bottom. I know for a fact. You know, more things she keeps purporting to be facts with no evidence, documentation. And if she does have it, then who gave you the authority to get it? Who told you that you had the right to obtain his autopsy report or any of his medical records? Candace Owens Farmer, I don't know if you realize this, but you're not Erica Kirk. You're not married to Charlie Kirk. You never were. In this reality here on Earth, you are not Charlie Kirk's wife at all. Not even a little bit. No matter how bad you want to be, no matter how much you obsess over him or you see his death spirit in your sleep, you're not his wife. Erica Kirk, go ahead and sue her. And then send me a copy of the complaint.
That were surrounding Charlie, and they weren't there before 2018. They weren't there until forces were trying to pull me and Charlie apart. I had it on my heart to share
Of
this
course
with you
he's trying
because
to
I
pull
think
me
it
and
will
Charlie
help
apart.
you when you start to look at things and assess people and they tell you he's a genius. Then you learn that they have, I don't know, a contract with the Department of Defense. He might just be a military
Oh my dear Lord.
actors, some of which I think were there when Charlie got shot. Weird behavior from people. The first people to get booked. It was hard to
This
find a
is
student
insane.
that spoke to a mainstream media news organization on that day. Something's not right. There are too many military players that were surrounding Charlie, and they weren't.
No, they're not. They went to the military, they came out, and they got jobs, Candace. Something you refuse to get, I guess, at this point, which is why you're doing this. I can't understand this. She has over 5 million supporters, and none of them are asking, how did you get his medical records? That would be a violation of federal law. How do you know that for a fact? You shouldn't even want to say that because of the implications of it, Candace. But since she's not that smart, yeah, roll with that, girl. Just roll with it.
There before 2018. They weren't there until forces were
there
trying
until
to pull me and
forces were
Charlie
trying to-
apart. I had it on my heart to share this with you because I think it will help you when you start to look at things and assess people and they tell you he's a genius. Then you learn that they have, I don't know, a contract with the Department of Defense. He might just be a military grade actor meant to lead a company because if we all looked up and
Oh
realized
my
the military
God.
owns everything and maybe has owned everything and controlled everything since they shot JFK, well, that wouldn't be a good thing for us to know, right? And we don't know it. We don't know it, but I kind of know.
Yeah, see, she makes this a joke. This is a joke to her. None of this is serious for her. She's sitting here dogging out many members of the military who may have retired or honorably discharged, you know, quite possibly medically discharged. Who knows? But they served the country and served well. And it came back as civilians, and they were able to come back and become ministers and doctors and surgeons and pilots and businessmen and members of the media. And she makes it seem as if it's a bad thing. Who else could do this aside from someone who can't define the word nationalism?
Industrial complex has had a lot of actors. We have military grade actors, some of which I think were there when Charlie got shot. Weird behavior from people. The first people to get booked. It was hard to find a student that spoke to a mainstream media news organization on that day. Something's not right. There are too many
There's
military
nothing wrong.
players that were surrounding Charlie, and they weren't there before 2018. They weren't there until.
So what? So what? He hired you. You left. You got to another job. You know, you were chasing fame, girl. You were not the co-founder of Turning Point USA. He hired you in. You had a job because he hired you.
Forces were trying to pull me and Charlie apart.
What forces?
I had it on my heart to share this with you because I think it will help you when you start to look at things and assess people and they tell you he's a genius. Then you learn that they have, I don't know, a contract with the Department of Defense.
Yeah,
He
that's
might
a
just
smart
be a
move.
military grade actor meant.
So what? I want a Department of Defense contract. It's millions of dollars. Trump, if you're listening, I want a Department of Defense contract. You can sponsor my channel. I don't really care. So what? What? So the government is not supposed to issue out contracts because reasons? Because Candace Owens can't get one? Is this what we're going for here? Now she's trying to aim to be like Mr. Beast. Girl, you will never. You're about to catch many lawsuits. For real. Because if you've gotten a hold of his medical records in that autopsy report, oh, you are so done.
To lead a company because if we all looked up and realized the military owns everything and maybe has owned everything and controlled everything since they shot JFK,
I thought it was
well,
a Jewish.
that wouldn't be a good thing for us to know, right?
I thought it was a Jew.
And we don't know it. We don't know it, but I kind of know.
No, you don't.
Lastly, there's something interesting.
Define the word nationalism and globalism.
That I was kind of hesitant to speak about, but I'm going to. I was hesitant to speak about it because I didn't want it to like lead to 1,000 conspiracy theories that are just
You've
wrong.
already done that.
But I'm interested, and I again want to
that.
caution you: don't spin out of control. I'm actually want some information because there could be something that I'm missing. I am not from the medical field. Okay. But on September 10th, thereafter, as I've been doing these episodes, we had received a flurry of tips from people telling us that Charlie was not at Timpanogos Hospital, but was at UVU Hospital. And I was like, remember there was this whole thing, like, why did they go to Timpanogos? Timpanogos was like a level 3 trauma.
That lets you know she was not in the no-no of anything going on that day. She wasn't, because all this information she's getting in and coming from these tips, from these candy asses that do nothing but spread conspiracy theories. Candace, you're not very smart. How do you know that people weren't intentionally telling you that to misdirect you? You just take tips and run with it because you allow all of these conspiracy theories and tips to run your platform because you're not that smart. Look at his face. It's just a spirit of confusion. The spirit of confusion hit her hard right here, boy. She's so confused and knows nothing. Candace, you allow these dumb tips that you don't vet, that you don't corroborate, to run your platform, and you just take it and run with it. And you're confused that people are telling you weird things that makes no sense. That goes to show no one notified you, no one contacted you, you weren't in the know of anything, and then you got people out here going over Google searches and stuff. That's the extent of how close she could get to this. She's got people probably hacking, but going over Google searches. I said probably. That's my opinion, not a fact. Opinion. You see the difference, Candace? But she definitely says she has people going over Google searches. They just searching Google searches. They're reading all the Google searches, because big words. And this is so hard to do. And she's getting tips that could possibly be misleading and misdirecting because she's not smart enough to vet her tips. You could have a bunch of people just effing with her all day. Think about this, y'all. Think about this for a second. Can you imagine Candace Owens getting 5,000 tips a day, and 4,000 of those tips are intentionally designed to throw her ass off? They're meant to sit here and send her in circles. Like they're conspiratorial by design because they just enjoy her being confused like this, having this look of confusion on her face, just for the laughter of it all. They're just messing with her. She's never thought about that. She's never thought about, out of 5,000 tips, 4,950 of those tips could just be people effing with me. Only 50 of them might be halfway decent. And out of that 50, 10 of them could be credible. And then out of that 10, 5 of them probably weren't someone being paid to tell her that tip. So then you're down to 5. A good 5 out of 5,000. Candace, I just literally, shifted a whole workload for all your so-called staff for today. 49.50 of the 5,000 tips are simply there to F with you. And you going for it every single time. You can't make this up. Like a fool. She keeps falling for it.
Center when the closer one was UVU. We never really understood why the ambulance wasn't there when it was required by law. He goes into this car. We don't really know. When I say we don't know, as in we have no footage or any indication of the drive or the arrival at Timpanogos. And I thought it was weird that we had people that were saying, I was downstairs at UVU and Charlie was brought in. And I am telling you, he was definitely at this hospital. Somebody else said to me, I was receiving treatment. I don't know if it was cancer treatment
don't know what the hell.
downstairs or upstairs, and we knew he was at this hospital, and then somebody came in and announced that Charlie had just died
Good
upstairs.
night, Camille.
It was very strange. I was like, okay, that's just people get confused. They may have heard from maybe a nurse, texted a nurse. There's a lot of ways it could have happened.
Yeah,
But
whatever.
then we received an email from somebody in the medical staff at UVU saying, I'm certain that he was here, and I have a medical file that we, in the text that we received at 2:08 p.m. saying that we're not allowed to touch them.
File? A medical file? What? From somebody in the medical staff that are soon to be fired. Oh, they're going to get fired. So here's what's going to happen. The IT department is going to track down who sent out that email. And they're going to see who logged in. And they're going to fire the hell out of that person for sending out any information that could be related to someone's medical treatment or anything that goes against federal laws and hospital policy. They're not supposed to be emailing you and telling you this, you clown. You can't make this up. Look at that. Jokester of the day. Look, you can't make this
that he was here.
up.
And I have a medical file.
I have a medical file. Yeah, no, that's medical records. That's a violation of HIPAA. Erica Kirk, I hope you listening, girl. Taking notes. You and your attorney, I hope y'all taking some notes. Y'all need to sue Candace and the hospital. Because if they sitting here allowing someone to still work there, giving out medical files or even indicating that they have it, they need to be fired. That is a violation of HIPAA privacy. Candace is not entitled to anybody else's medical records unless it is hers or her children or her husband, and there's a waiver or some sort of authorization for release. She's not entitled to somebody else's medical records. You could call it whatever you want. Medical records, medical file is still not yours.
That we, in the text that we
Oh, my
received
God.
at 2:08 p.m. saying that we're not allowed to touch the medical file. And here is the entry in the UVU system.
What?
For Charlie Kirk, it had his right birthday, it had his age, it had an MRN number.
It's blocked. Oh my God. Somebody should be fired. It should be fired. You're saying sue you. Ditto. They need to sue you and the hospital and track down the person that sent this to you. You can't make this up. This is why y'all see everything. This is redacted. Y'all see these lines here? Because you can see those little words right there. This is redacted out. So what they did is they did a print screenshot and then they edited in Paint. So if someone is smart enough to know how to reverse that, they can see everything. Candace, you're an idiot. Y'all look at this. Kirk Charles J. Here's a MRN. Y'all see MRN? That's a medical record number. Somebody needs to be fired. You can't make this up. ID type, EHEPI, male, 10/14/1993, 31 years old. Last contact date, 9/10/2025. That was the day he went in. You can't make this up. Y'all, this right here was done with some sort of like Windows Paint or something like that. And he just whited it out. Y'all see how it's done? It's horribly done. Because you can still see parts of certain letters and stuff. Look, scroll to the selection. What EMR system is this? This looks like is this Oracle? You can't make this up. You cannot make this up. Why are you posting up private medical information? You're not supposed to have this, Candace, you doofus. Oh my God. Erica Kirk is going to sue the shit out of you, Candace. And the hospital. And whoever sent this, should be fired by the end of this week. Like literally fired. You can't make this up. All for what? You can't say who you are that sent it because you know you would lose your job. So what did you have to gain out of this? Whatever little money that Candace Owens may have paid this person for sending this in, not worth it. Because you could be criminally charged. You can't make this up. Holy moly. What an idiotic thing to do. They're going to be criminally charged, by the way. I hope y'all know that. That person should be fired and then they're going to be criminally charged. It's a violation of HIPAA all over the place. You're releasing any medical information on any patient.
And then this individual shared the internal message that went out telling them that they're not allowed to touch the file. Here it is. Hi, all. There was a media event that took place today that led to a trauma patient. Due to the nature of the situation, the only individuals who will be allowed in the chart will be Deborah and myself. No one else is allowed to hover or open the chart. Jacob blank. Deb and I will be doing the log tomorrow. Thanks.
Oh my God. Candace Owens, you're not supposed to have this in your possession, idiot. Y'all see the redactions here? There's a redaction up there in white. Then there's black redactions here. Candace, you're not supposed to have this. This is a part of medical information. This is not available to the public. You can't make this up. What? Talk about negligence from the hospital. Erica Kirk, I hope you and your attorney are paying attention. You have a whole lawsuit on your hands, girl. Candace, you just effed up. Boy, tell you the truth. Candace, you might want to not say anything. You know what? Keep on talking. Keep on talking. We're going to let you talk.
And let me know if you have any questions. Now, in my mind, I said maybe the reason for this is these two medical hospitals speak to each other. You know, like if you go to CVS and you pick up a prescription at one location, the other location knows that it happens. I've confirmed that doesn't seem to be the circumstance. It's possible that it could be because maybe Dr. Lee Trotter, which I have heard, works at both limited surgeons going back and forth. That's somehow it created a file. But I'd like to know definitively what the answer for that is, why he also has a file at UVU, why there seem to be some.
You don't have the right to know the answer to that question. That is medical information. All of that is supposed to be confidential. Oh my God. Yeah.
So much confusion. Again, we don't need to go crazy with conspiracy theories. There could be a logical answer.
You just
I have not stumbled upon it yet.
And so
medical community, feel free to email us at moretips@CandaceOwens.com.
You do that and you're all aiding in a criminal activity.
Okay, we're going to take a brief break before we get into Turning Point USA's response to Mikey McCoy's actions.
I don't care.
Oh, but there could be another logical explanation. Maybe someone called ahead and then they made a decision because of traffic to go somewhere else. But I would like to get to the bottom of that. Okay, let's jump in here to TPUSA's response to the Mikey McCoy. Actually, it wasn't really a response because...
Stop responding to Candace Owens, to everybody at Turning Point USA. Clearly, she is not scared to be charged with having private medical information in her possession. She's certainly not scared of a lawsuit, even though she stalls on the one that she has. You can't make this up. You don't need to respond. This entire video is one big smoking gun. This whole video is enough evidence in and of itself. Just her having private, confidential medical information in her possession and being proud of it, like it's a thing to share. You have no idea what you've done, Candace Owens. I do, but you don't.
To be fair, they did their episode before my episode went out. Charlie Kirk's show is before my show is, but it was their response to the Mikey McCoy video going viral. So not a response to me, but rather a response to the people who had pulled this out, who had discovered this over the weekend. So like James Lee, Ian Carroll, Sam Parker. And here is what Andrew Colvett had to say. He's going to tell us that Mikey was told to do this in the event of this type of an emergency by, you guessed it, Charlie Kirk. Take a listen.
Here's the last thing I want to make a point of. And Charlie, because Charlie had given me similar instructions along the years. Said if anything ever happens to me, you call Erica.
My God.
Yeah, that's the other thing. And he drilled that into Mikey's brain so that when this moment of trauma happened, that he turned around and he knew he had to do it. And by the way, last thing, because this is part of the video allegations here, is that they think they're alleging that he was on the phone immediately. He was not. He was taking social videos, which he would send to our group chat, which we would then put on Charlie's social while the event was happening, so you could see like a crowd come in or his interactions. And we were only 2 questions into this event, so he was still getting it out to all the chats he needed to do, which he did at every event. He turns around and it was so blaringly loud, I'm told. You would know this better than I. This is what I'm told. It was so blaringly loud, and he was so shell-shocked. He put his fingers in his ear, but his phone was still in his hand. He walks away. And he's
not even walk. I want to, because people are talking about that. The way it was is we had a cordoned off area with grates, so you had controlled access. All the people, when this happens, they all get the idea we should leave before we are shot. And so there's a little narrow gap that I think people. It's not really walking; it's that everyone has to slow up to get through this little narrow choke point to get out of the area.
Okay. Elsewhere, they say that so basically he wasn't on the phone; he was holding his ears. Okay. And then once he got out into the distance beyond the car that Charlie would be carried into is when he called Erica first and then his father. That's what they tell us. Now, in regards to him.
What? Okay, so what? What does that have to do with you having medical information in your possession you're not supposed to have under federal law? Y'all, okay, I got to show you all this because, we read here in the Lady Luck Club. Candace Owens, this is how journalism works. You got to research information that's factually based. Receipts, heifer. The HIPAA Privacy Act establishes national standards to protect individuals' medical records and other personal health information, ensuring privacy while allowing necessary access for healthcare purposes. The HIPAA law was enacted in 1996 to set national standards for the protection of sensitive patient health information. The HIPAA privacy rule, implemented by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, outlines how protected health information, PHI, can be used and disclosed by covered entities. Key provisions of the HIPAA privacy rule. Candace Owens, pay attention. Protected health information, PHI. HIPAA protects any individually identifiable health information held by covered entities, which include healthcare providers, health plans, and healthcare clearinghouses. You shouldn't even have access to the damn doctors that treated him. You can't make this up. I can't make this up either. You guys are more than welcome to read and research and Google HIPAA privacy rules under the CDC, Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act of 1996. This law was created 3 years after Charlie Kirk was born. Permissible uses and disclosures. The privacy rule limits the use and disclosure of PHI without patient consent, allowing it only for treatment, payment, and healthcare operations. Other uses require explicit permission from the individual. When did Charlie Kirk give that staff permission to send any medical file to Candace Amber Owens Farmer? When the hell did that happen? When did that happen? I'll wait. I don't recall anyone giving the hospital staff permission to send a screenshot of a medical file with not just his name listed, but other patients was listed on that log. They was just blurred out. That's why the search at the top of the page. Let me go back here. That's why I look like this. She's talking about cows and shit. Look at this. Y'all see that name? That's why they're searching here through the system. Somebody said Epic. Oh, you a lifesaver, Carrie. The Epic system, which holds your PHI, can be viewed by other hospitals, doctors, pharmacy, and insurance. That's it. Not by Candace Owens. Nor should it be released to Candace Owens. Are you kidding me? This person who did this not only should be fired, but they're going to be criminally charged for releasing private medical information about not just one patient. Looks like what? It's got to be, let's just say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's about 12 rows of patients. Let's just say it's a hypothetical. You can't make this up. This is a search query. So his name is not the only name that popped up here. And they sent this to Candace Owens, who just showed this on her platform, that she has medical information without consent from the patient. Violation of HIPAA. That is PHI. Candace, Kara, you are going to get sued. You and that hospital. That's so negligent, it's not even funny. That is a huge liability. Whoever sent that email, they need to find that person and fire them. This is why y'all need to share this video. Because information like this, yeah, I might get 2,000-3,000 views. I need to get more than that. Because this stuff right here, people need to know. That hospital is in trouble. You can't make this up. This is so unbelievable. It's so blatant and in your face. And because, the candy asses don't read, they don't understand HIPAA privacy laws and rules. They don't understand, like, this is illegal for you to be doing that, Candace. They didn't get that because they would have flooded her chat with it. They would have said, don't put that out. What is wrong with you, you idiot? Nope. Oh, she drops receipts. Yeah, receipts that can get her a lawsuit and criminally charged. That's why I said, why do the Turning Point or Erica Kirk need to respond to her at this point? All they need to do is remind her that you're posting up medical information violating HIPAA privacy laws, girl. We're not going back and forth with you. For what? You can't make this up. Other uses require explicit permission from the individual who was deceased and could not give permission. And she's not next to kin. She's not a spouse or a mother or anything. She's not listed in the will. She's not listed in his advance directive. She would have no rights to his medical information whatsoever. So what? She's looking for him. No one cares. Candace, if you weren't important enough to even get a phone call, why did you think you were entitled to private, confidential medical information from a hospital? Unbelievable. Individual rights. Individuals have the right to access their health information, request corrections, and receive an accounting of disclosures. They can also restrict certain disclosures of their health information. Who told her she could get a copy of his health information to say, I know for a fact that his neck was not destroyed? Yeah. Sue her and get her deposed. Because now you're going to have to explain what all medical information do you really have in your arsenal? That can be addressed with a subpoena, Candace. So whatever you don't give up, they will subpoena and take from you. Yep. That needs to happen like now. Nobody needs to wait for that. This is unbelievable. Compliance and enforcement. The Office for Civil Rights, OCR, within HHS is responsible for enforcing the privacy rule. Covered entities must comply with the regulations, and violations can result in civil penalties. Sue her, call the hospital, get that employee fired, and then recommend a criminal charge. Because Candace is not entitled to his medical information. Neither is anyone else unless you were given permission. This man deserves the right to have his medical health information kept confidential. As much as the journalistic part of me wants to see the autopsy report, not at the cost of me being sued and charged and violating the law. The importance of HIPAA. The privacy rule aims to balance the need for healthcare providers to access necessary information while ensuring the individual's health information remains confidential. It promotes high-quality healthcare and protects public health by allowing the flow of health information while safeguarding privacy, because he deserved the right to have his information kept confidential in that damn hospital. Candace, you effed up. You've effed up, girl. That's why Lady Luck Club is here. So I enjoy this independent journalism. To point out how bad you've effed up. You can't make this stuff up. You cannot make this up. Oh yeah, we don't have much.
Said that their two systems don't speak together. So, but there could be another logical explanation. Maybe someone called ahead and then they made a decision because of traffic to go somewhere else. But I would like to get to the bottom of that. Okay, let's jump in here.
No, it could be called a diversion. The end. That's it. Maybe the hospital was on a diversion. Considering what he needed to have done to him, who knows? Get to the bottom of what? You can't make this up. They don't owe you a response at the hospital, Candace. They just don't.
Candace. Okay, I just want to correct. Thank you guys in the chat for correcting me. I think I said UVU Medical. I meant to say Utah Valley Hospital. UVU is obviously on my mind because it is the university. It is Utah Valley Hospital is where that file was. And that's
the only
person
correction.
And some people that I confirmed with said that their two systems don't speak together. So, but there could be another logical explanation. Maybe someone called ahead and then they made a decision because of traffic to go somewhere else. But I would like to get to the bottom of that. Okay, let's jump in here to TPUSA's response to the Mikey McCoy. Actually, it wasn't really a response because, to be fair, they did their episode before my or quite private people and are
hold on.
Brain or out there.
So that right there is a psychological operation. And because we're reading about Sigmund Freud, they diagnose you. When they don't want you to look into something, they diagnose you. So
skip ahead on some.
That Charlie said, if I get shot, don't help me, calmly walk.
Because people are talking about that. The way it was is we had a cordoned off area with rates, so you had controlled access. All the people, when this happens, they all get the idea we should leave before we are shot. And so there's a little narrow gap that I think people, it's not really walking, it's that everyone has to slow up to get through this little narrow choke point to get out of the area.
Okay, elsewhere they say that, so basically he was on the phone, he was holding his ears, okay? And then once he got out into the distance beyond the car that Charlie would be carried into is when he called Erica first and then his father. That's what they tell us. Now, in regards to him saying that Mikey was taking social videos, I can tell you it tracks that Mikey would be taking videos behind, like, when Charlie first comes out of the event, he's throwing hats. That tracks. That absolutely is a thing at Turning Point USA. You follow the person to get behind the scenes.
How long has it been since you worked there again? Candace, you hadn't worked there in over 4 or 5 years? Do you really think that operations were going to stay the exact same as it were when you left? Or that they can't hire anyone else? You are so unrealistic and so tapped out of reality. It's just disturbing. You really think you're above the rule of law. You violated HIPAA privacy laws here. and then you showcase it on your platform like that's a good thing. You can't make this up. I would never show that. I don't care what type of facts and evidence I want to prove to someone that I have. This is gross.
Have Savannah do this before Mikey McCoy did this. It was Sarah Schmachtenberger. And they do that. They like the behind the scenes reactions. But in this particular video, he's not standing where you can get a view of Charlie asking a question. So this part is not tracking. Okay. Mikey is not standing to the side of Charlie. He is behind. And so if you're saying what earlier, we're supposed to see him, the best place to stand if you're going to get a video of Charlie asking a question is going to be in a place where you can see both Charlie and the person asking the question. And that's just not where he's standing. So that excuse doesn't make sense to me.
Him.
Now, maybe he's saying Mikey was there when he was throwing hats out and he was there trying to.
Perhaps the camera behind Charlie Kirk was serving that purpose, Candace. She who does not understand the definition of the word nationalism, globalism, or privacy laws. Maybe that's what the camera that was installed and set up behind Charlie Kirk was there to do, so that he wouldn't have to do that. When he sat down, here's a camera to do what the young man was doing when he walked in. This is so crazy. It boggles my mind when she thinks it wasn't like that when I was there. So what? They upgraded. You have no idea what changes they made. And you're literally pointing it out like it's a problem, like companies can't upgrade and change their operations.
Send videos thereafter once things got started. That's all possible. I don't know. Regarding him putting his hands up to his ear, it does sound completely plausible to me that if you first hear a gunshot, you're going to naturally do this, right? That kind of makes sense. You're going to go, what was that maybe? And then I think typically you'd get down. And the issue that I have is I never see him take that phone down. Maybe he does, right? Maybe he does. We don't know for a fact. And so we should be clear that it doesn't look to me like he's just covering his ears there, but maybe he is. What I will...
So what? You weren't there. All you can go on is what's happening. And what is this proving? This is not some, proof that shows he has something to do with Charlie Kirk's death. What the hell is wrong with you, you demon? Candace, you're going to get sued for violating HIPAA privacy laws.
Say is that it would be unlikely that you would keep holding your ears until you get all the way out and that you wouldn't duck down. And regarding, Charlie always told us to call Erica if anything happens. Yeah, that's kind of common sense. That's not exactly like, hey, if I get shot in the throat, don't help me and call Erica. I think obviously if
she's so jealous of Erica Kirk. Look at her. Candace Owens, you're not his wife. You weren't his wife. He didn't marry you. Okay. Charlie Kirk didn't pick you. I think it's high time for you to get over that. You were not selected. We all know you like power, control. You're not the CEO of Turning Point USA. Okay. You're going to have to be okay with that. You're already facing a lawsuit now because you violated HIPAA privacy laws. And then you showcase it in a video. You better not privatize this video or take it down either. It's already out there. And the candy asses, since they don't read or research or Google anything, they didn't even tell you, you're violating HIPAA privacy laws, putting that up. That's medical information. It's supposed to be confidential. How about you take that down? Nope, they didn't even tell her that. And then you're challenging people to sue you. They're going to sue you and the hospital.
That's called like first of kin, right? First of kin. If something happens to me, call George. If something happens to George, call Candace. That is almost in the sphere of common sense. So I believe that. I don't believe that Charlie said, if I get shot, don't help me, calmly walk away. And
no one has to say that. But he did what he was told to do. All these visions you keep having with Charlie, who's dead, with this unfamiliar spirit, and they're not telling you, maybe I did say for someone to call my wife if something happens to me. What do you mean? I thought Erica Kirk was there. Was she not there? Maybe I'm wrong. You see that, Candace? Sometimes I could be wrong.
Call Erica first. Like, I think, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, we have nothing to go off of. I think it's curious that we're hearing this from Andrew and we're not hearing it from Mikey McCoy. It's very easy to dispel any internet innuendo. You don't actually have to jump into ad hominem attacks. The first thing I would have done, just like I did when I was being accused of colluding on the Blake Lively story, when I got drafted into that lawsuit and they thought that I was working with Blake Lively's, working with Justin Baldoni's team, is I quite literally live subpoenaed myself. Held to my phone, I typed in Blake Lively, and I showed you the only 2 times that I had ever texted about her in my phone at all to demonstrate that there was no collusion happening and no one.
You live subpoenaed yourself. Is that a concept, Candace? Because we all know you don't know the law. You don't know HIPAA privacy laws. You don't understand anti-defamation laws. You don't understand how courts work. You don't understand the definition of nationalism or globalism. Or, low birth rates, I guess, in UK. Like, Hitler's a bad person. You don't understand that cyber crimes is illegal. You should not be sending out people to cyber harass or bully or dox anyone. That, you shouldn't even be putting up the names of the doctors that treated Charlie Kirk at the hospital, because that's a violation of HIPAA privacy laws. You don't seem to understand a lot of things. Candace, what's 3 times 2? Make it quick. 3 times 2. Go ahead. You can do it. We'll wait.
Compelled me to speak. It was a ridiculous thing for her to say. I laughed at it. I wasn't upset about it, right? And I said, this is crazy. Here is my phone. I'm live opening it for you. Why not do that? Doesn't that seem easier easier thing, if you feel that pressure, is to just say, I'm going to dispel this? It's kind of like the Brigitte Macron thing. Hey, here's a couple of pictures of me raising my kids.
She sent you that, you moron, and you denied it. You rejected it. She sent you pictures. She sent you photos. She sent you a birth announcement, and you rejected it and demanded that she responded to all these stupid ass questions you typed up in a document because you wanted an interview, and they told your little spoiled ass no. High five to Brigitte Macron for saying, kiss my ass, girl, in French. You can't make this up. Oh, y'all got to let me use my little cuss words today. Y'all will be all right. You can't make this up. I'm still floored at her violating HIPAA privacy laws. I've worked in hospitals, in healthcare, been in healthcare for over 20 years. I was a biology pre-med major. I literally studied medicine, wanted to go to medical school to become a pediatrician, neonatologist. Ended up going into finance. Go figure. One thing I don't believe in doing is infringing upon the rights of others. Whether it's their right to free speech, right to live free and peacefully in their own home, in their own domicile, the right to exist and not have to worry about someone taking away their motherhood, the right to be the first lady of a country and not have to worry about, this soulless demon sitting here calling you a man, saying that you didn't give birth 3 times and you don't have grandchildren, when she has no scientific evidence to prove it. But yet, she posts up a medical file, confidential information that should have never been released to her from that hospital. This is who we're dealing with here. Someone that's trying to tear down a company that the man that she obviously loved and still does created and built, and has no regard for his wife and 2 children.
30 years was missing because I really was just camera shy. I'm just going to show you the pictures. It's so much easier, rather than fighting a tit for tat war, to just share
She didn't have
the
to
truth.
share you
People
either.
are uncomfortable. It's going to get even more interesting, though, because Alex Marlowe...
I'm uncomfortable with you violating whole federal laws and invading this man's medical information and his privacy. You're sitting here you demanded the blood of the first lady. because you didn't like the photos they sent you and the exhibits that they're going to use in court. And yet you lied to people, Candace Owens, and said you did not want a dismissal of the case. You want to go to the discovery phase. And then you turn around and file a motion to dismiss. And for the second time is seeking an extension for words. You know, the hypocrisy of this.
Runs Breitbart News, was their guest for the day on the show. And he then kind of shifts gears and pretends like we're all drug addicts. Right? We're just high on conspiracy theory. Take a listen.
There's a suggestion online that Mikey, Charlie's chief of staff, one of the most sincere people you ever meet, brilliant, Christian, kind, everyone he ever met in his entire life, couldn't hurt a fly, was part of a conspiracy to murder Charlie. That's what's going on.
Yeah. It's vile. It's utterly vile.
Who would do this? What type of individual? Just to create content, do we think, or is there some? What's the ulterior?
I don't know. I think a lot of this mindset just sort of fuels itself. It's sort of addictive in the same way a lot of social media stuff is addictive, or in the way like honestly something like pornography is addictive or something. Like they get really they almost get a high off of like the idea of like that they're doing something that's daring or out there.
So that right there is a psychological operation. And
no, it's not. It's the truth. You get a high off of this. That's why you're posting up medical files and medical information that is supposed to be legally protected and confidential under HIPAA privacy laws, because you're trying to prove some point of something that you still didn't prove, while you also attack the U.S. military veterans. You prove nothing that you deserve a lawsuit and definitely a criminal charge or two. They're going to get the last laugh, girl, while you still get bankrupted. You don't have to worry about being bankrupted, Candace. If someone does drop some charges on your ass, you will not have to worry about being bankrupted. You won't be able to do your show from prison.
Because we're reading about Sigmund Freud, they diagnose you. When they don't want you to look into something, they diagnose you. So right there, he's going, oh my, are they just doing this to create content? Are these people akin to drug addicts? They're just high on the conspiracy theory. They're gaslighting you, and then they're diagnosing you. So we all just watched Charlie die. We are having a perfectly rational response to watching that, and then watching the strange reaction of his people.
Nope. Violating laws is not a reasonable, rational response to someone that died over 7 weeks ago. You keep harping on it. It's like you want to relive that moment in your head. You are demented, Candace, and depraved. You talk about having visions and dreams of someone that's deceased, which goes against the Bible itself. And then you break laws. You talk about intentionally violating gag orders you're not mentioned in. Candace, are you really a witness in that protection order? Because if not, it doesn't apply to you. You're not that important. And someone violated federal law and hospital rules to send you a screenshot of a medical file, just so you can feel like you're in the mix. That person is going to lose their job. They should.
Or the non-reaction of his peers who just want our money, right? And are asking for Susie Wiles. It's the craziest part of his whole thing for me. It was like, why Susie Wiles? I don't know, it just feels really weird, like a weird pick for her to eulogize him. But yeah, and not maybe his parents, maybe they didn't want to. Actually, they were quite private people. But all this happens, and we're having a natural reaction, which is we feel alarmed, we feel suspicious, and they're going, "Oh, you're a drug addict. You know what? I get it. You kind of like porn. You're into that. You're into the porn thing. It's I get it. No,
This is coming from the woman that liked the post that said rabbis were drinking the blood of Christians. Like, the idea of a human drinking blood from another human is depraved and demonic and evil in and of itself, and disgusting. Candace, you liked that post. Are you going to denounce Nicholas Ray sending out death threats and catching 12 counts because you and a neo-Nazi that he listened to all day, every day? Are you going to denounce that? Because it seems like you don't care if people get doxxed or harassed or stalked. You don't care about any of that. You don't care about anyone else's safety and security. You just care about you sitting here feeling important for an hour. That is your high. This is your high. This is her drug here. Charlie ripped a hole in a reality. No. The rest of us are here on earth in this reality. You're the one that left reality a long time ago. Maybe he ripped a hole in your reality. But here on earth, he was unfortunately assassinated and he died. And you're releasing medical information against federal law, under some pretense that you're proving some point.
I get it. If you want to watch porn all day, you want to watch porn all day. That, my friends, is a psychological operation. Steel yourselves against this. Yes, we are asking questions. No, we are not akin to people that watch pornography all day. And no, we're not getting high on it. We're going to get high when we find out what actually happened. That's going to feel like a high to us, right? That's going to be that natural rush that we feel when we've actually solved what happened to Charlie Kirk. So let me answer you back on that, Alex.
Video. We saw it in videos, Candace. People who were there saw it with their own eyes. They saw what happened. Y'all hear that? We'll get a high when we saw what happened to him. How many videos do you need to see?
You're a drug addict. You know what? I get it. You kind of like porn. You're into that. You're into the porn thing. I get it. No, I get it. If you want to watch porn all day, you want to watch porn all day. That, my friends, is a psychological operation. Steel yourselves against this. Yes, we are asking questions. No, we are not akin to people that watch pornography all day. And no, we're not getting high on it. We're going to get high when we find out what actually happened. That's going to feel like a high to us, right? That's going to be that natural rush that we feel when we've actually solved what happened to Charlie Kirk. So
we saw it with our own eyes in videos. He got shot in the neck. You're not solving anything. You're violating federal laws. And you're daring people to sue you. Which granted.
Let me answer you back on that, Alex Marlowe. Be careful, because it might do your genealogy. You don't want me doing that. Careful. Then we have Frank Turek, who engages in this same sort of act of psychological manipulation, in my viewpoint. And he defends Mikey McCoy. I think this is on his own show. Here's what he had to say.
There's a difference between a possibility and evidence for a possibility. You can speculate on anything you want, but unless you have evidence, shut up. Okay? Because all you're doing is causing dissension among the brothers, which is something the Lord hates. If you want to present a possibility and say, well, this could be true, okay, it could be true, but don't accuse people for doing something for which you have no evidence. I heard today, I guess I hadn't seen it myself, but I heard today she was judging people who didn't act the right way. I don't know if anyone seen this video? She, according to Candace Owens, these people did not act the right way after Charlie's death. Like my friend Mikey McCoy, the brilliant 24-year-old who at the time when Charlie was shot was 23 and was a hero that day. He apparently didn't act the right way according to Candace Owens.
That's what she said.
He didn't act normal. Newsflash, there is no normal when you're in shock. There is no normal when an abnormal thing happens. Some people are going to act one way, other people are going to act another way.
Exactly.
You don't know how you would react.
Exactly.
I didn't know how I would react. The only reason that I did what I did is because I thought about it beforehand. I was afraid somebody would take a shot at Charlie. And I thought to myself, if it does happen, what am I going to do? Decide now. And what I wanted to do would do anything I could to save him.
Couple of psychological manipulations happening there. First is like the academic one.
No, it's not. It's logic and common sense. You said in your video yesterday about the fight or flight response, Candace. Some people will run far away. Some people will run to the friend. Some people will freeze. You said it's normal to get down on the ground. But that at least shows that there are a variety of actions that could occur during a fight or flight response. That is his only point. You have no idea how you would have acted had you been there and seen it for yourself. She probably would have stood there and just bathed in it like, you know, that movie, Carrie. Yeah, she would have turned into a whole Carrie. Just in the middle of the grass, just rubbing the blood all over her face and clothes. Going full Carrie mode, and then with her eyes start lighting things on fire like the demon she's acting like. This is ridiculous, man.
Where he's
This
trying
is
to
not
present himself as an
psychological
authority
anything.
on the topic and saying to you, like, there is no, no, everybody can do anything when shots are fired. We don't know when you're shocked by shots being fired. Some people just, start doing the hokey pokey. We can't. I mean, look, some people literally, they hear shots fired. They get on a table and they start dancing and singing and saying, shoot me, shoot me. Like George Zinn, hey, we don't know. He was in shock. George Zinn, I did it. That's a normal, hey, we don't know. Right? Like, we do actually know that we all have a baseline response to danger. You run towards it because you want to rescue people.
It's not the only thing you do, you dingus who can't define nationalism.
These are the heroes in the story, or you run away from it. Right? That's a baseline. Or you freeze. You literally just are paralyzed by fear, kind of. Maybe I'd say 3 baseline things that you can expect, right? I don't know what to do. I'm running away from this. Or I know exactly what to do, and I need to rescue other people. So don't do that. The other thing he's doing, of course, is the biblical manipulation, which seems to me,
it's not manipulation.
to be that there has been a military infiltration into the churches. I think we've covered that enough this year. I've termed that Operation Mocking Pastor, where they just try to find some scripture and justify it. And he's a pastor. He's earned trust. So he's saying she's judging people. The Lord.
Didn't she use a scripture yesterday in her video, and it wasn't even correctly stated? You didn't even correctly state the truth. Of the scripture itself. You didn't even correctly cite it. You could have just Googled it, pull it up on your laptop. Could have read it. I mean, who cares? If you're reading it, as long as it's relayed correctly. She tried to do that at the end of her segment yesterday. And yet, anyone else does it. Oh no, you're psychological warfaring me. This warfare of my mind with Bible. Because demons tremble at the name of Jesus.
Says this. The Lord says she shouldn't look into the trial. The Lord says she shouldn't ask questions. The Lord thinks that people should just shut up, right? That to me is like the sickest form of manipulation.
It's not. Nope. Sometimes God will tell you to be at peace. Jesus commanded the ocean, the waves, peace be still. There's a time for laughing and crying. There's a time to live and die. There's a time to speak. There's a time to mourn. There's a time to do a lot of things. Sometimes God will tell you, you need to be quiet. And if he tells you and you are disobedient to it, then he will teach you a lesson. And then you'll wish you just obeyed him when he said, be quiet.
Sickest form of manipulation is to try to present it via the lens of what God would want. You don't have to do that. Just say what you think, say what you mean, and try to manipulate people the old school way. Okay.
Now, not manipulation.
Speaking of psychological operations, the one safe place is my book club. Okay. I'm like, we're real, like, we're ratchet in the book club. I say whatever, because I know people that are in there, they're ready for it. I'm throwing to them. We're talking about Frankism. We're talking about the Kabbalah. We're talking about the infiltration into the churches, intentional as an aspect of the Frankist movement. And
but they don't read scriptures and pray or anything like that. I don't think I've ever heard her repent. Like, there's something you should do, Candace. You don't speak on how people should not break the law or violate a gag order if they're mandated by one. Because that would be illegal. You could be held to contempt. Like, you don't say things that need to be said. They're just all in there to kiss your ego and inflate your pride and ego bigger than it already is. Okay, bobblehead.
Pretty quickly. We're reading these books. We're learning about Sigmund Freud, right? It starts with Sigmund Freud. It ends with Operation Mocking Pastor, or that's where we are at right now.
Candace bobblehead.
And I have so much fun. And what happened was Zionists actually purchased the book club, passed the book club, and they then started sharing clips and watermarked it as if it was their own content to make money off of. This guy, Milk Bar TV, I was like, you're getting hit with a copyright strike, my friend, okay?
Why are you clowning?
Hit him with a copyright strike. Because he literally put Milk Bar TV content on the corner. He watermarked my content. to then smear me, right? If you're going to watermark my content, at least don't smear me.
He didn't smear you. What are you talking about? He didn't smear you at all. He just played what you said. What are you talking about? Wait a minute. She said she gave a copyright strike for a video where she was not smeared at all. Like, so she said, so Candace, you showing us you don't have a spine. You throwing all these names out here. You violated HIPAA privacy laws. You've posted up medical information that's supposed to be confidential. You've put someone in the line of fire of being terminated at this hospital now. Could possibly face charges. You could be named as well. And you're worried about a video from your book club. You should be worried about many, many more lawsuits to come now because you posted up confidential medical information. An email that was supposed to stay within inside of a hospital between employees and staff. That someone foolishly sent to you for what? $25 or something in a gift card, maybe? What did they get out of that? Because then if you gave them money or some sort of donation or contribution in exchange for that medical information, now you're looking at additional charges, Candace. You're not that smart, girl.
Call me a crazy person. And what they were upset with was that I said that it was ridiculous. And I meant it, by the way. So shocking. I say what I mean. That we're supposed to think that Charlie is being honored because he got a Charlie Kirk Day in October. I will feel Charlie is honored, okay, when we figure out who killed him, because I'm not buying a lone shooter thing. So I said, miss me with the whole holiday theater. Tell me who actually killed him. And it's a typical federal maneuver, by the way, to kill someone like Martin Luther King or JFK, and then they get a holiday, they get a boulevard. That's what I said. And I would have said it off the book club, but they clipped it, tried to take it out of context, but it's not 2018, and I am not new to what you guys do. These out of context clips are just not hitting the same. The people are awake. They know what's happening here. They see what you're doing. And then he cried, by the way, when he got hit with a copyright strike. I couldn't believe it. Talk about literally crying while you strike someone else. Like, you stole my content. You got caught stealing my content and trying to make money off of it. And then he tweets, oh, no. Candace Owens hit my account. This is Nathan Livingstone. I tried to steal and she didn't let me. Why is she trying to silence me? Why won't she let me steal?
That's not what any of this says. It says here, shout out to Milk Bar TV. Candace Owens hit my account with a copyright strike and took down 2 of my posts. Why is she trying to silence me? Candace, you've lied flat out on your videos. Now you're mad and you're crying because the Macrons are suing you, saying that they're trying to bankrupt you. You know, anything you can say, I can say better. I can say anything better than you. Because this is what she's doing, right? Mad because the Macrons wouldn't give her an interview, which they don't owe her. Demanded the blood of the first lady in a video because she knows that she would need scientific evidence to prove that someone's born a man. And then had a whole fit for an hour and doubled down and said, you were born a man, you'll die a man, and threw a whole tantrum when she got sued because the Macrons are trying to show us how it's done. She cried about the High Court of Australia, saying, nope, can't come here. We ain't got time for your nonsense and your BS and the demonic nonsense and you getting high off of people's deaths. Nope, keep that over there. But yet, won't denounce people being targeted with death threats because they're Jewish conservatives. What's interesting is that plenty of others uploaded the exact same content, some before me, and a few even got over 3 times more views. All of these posts are still up. She only appears to have targeted my account. By Candace's own logic, that must mean I'm over the target. Yeah, he used her words against her. Oh, man. Yeah, don't forget Milk Bar. She doesn't know what nationalism means.
You can pay for a pass. You can watch it. but you can't steal my content. Anyways, guys, it's amazing. Like, I think it's actually amazing that
the
a book club
Macron
that
said you
infiltrated.
can
We're
say
gonna have to
whatever
be
you
more
want.
careful.
Don't
in
lie on
there.
us.
Just kidding. I won't be. I will be just as ratchet as I always am in the book club.
Oh, okay. Well, then, don't get mad when somebody get that shit out. Candace, you're not smart enough to know since you don't care and it's all about money and power for you, because cult of personality and all. You probably have a lot more people in there that bought passes just to see what you're saying. You have no idea who's watching you, do you, Candace? No, she doesn't. She has no idea who's watching her.
Lastly, we got to get to Brigitte Macron because I think everybody now is
Why?
really tired of her lying about having been born with a penis.
What? No one's talked about that. You talked about Charlie Kirk for 6 weeks straight, girl. The only people that are tired of that is you, because you said that. She didn't. She would not have had a reason to say I was not born with a penis had you not falsely accused her of that and purported it to be a fact. You can't make this up.
Not my fault, okay? If you have not, by the way, watched the Becoming
All of
Brigitte
this is
series
your
and
fault.
you are appreciating what I'm doing with the Charlie Kirk series, go back and watch it. Same thing. All
Charlie Kirk series. I hope you all see this. The Charlie Kirk series. This is a show for her. If you need any proof to see that this is a show for her, here it is. She's comparing the Charlie Kirk series to the Brigitte Macron series. This is nothing but content for Candace Owens, the demon whisperer of unfamiliar spirits. That's all this is to her.
because I think everybody now is really tired of her lying about having been born with a penis. Not my fault, okay?
Anything.
If you have not, by the way, watched the Becoming Brigitte series and you are appreciating what I'm doing with the Charlie Kirk series, go back and watch
Kirk
it.
Series. It's a show. It's a fucking show for her. This is nothing more than a show for her. She wants you all to watch it because views translate to dollars here on YouTube. Buy her books. Buy her cups. Buy her hats and shirts and stuff. On the Charlie Kirk series, where she's solving nothing and breaking laws. You violated HIPAA privacy laws, you dingus. You can't make this up. You are going to get sued. You're going to get someone terminated and fired. They're probably going to get charged. You're probably going to get named. And if you purchase that health data that you were never entitled to, you're looking at even more charges. Candace, you should try to keep a low profile, but you're too much of a cult leader to do that. So whatever.
Same thing. All I did was tell the truth and people were upset and then the series went viral. I mean, by people, I mean the media was upset. The series went viral. There's no way you can watch the series and come out of it thinking that Brigitte was born.
Nope, I can. All I need is scientific evidence to see whether or not someone is born a man or woman. The same medical information you purchased possibly, definitely obtained illegally, without the permission of Charlie Kirk or his wife, next of kin. Something you're not. I like to rub it in Candace Owens' face that she is not Charlie Kirk's wife. I'm going to rub it in.
Female. You can't just disappear 30 years of your life. You can't just say, I didn't take a picture for 30 years. It doesn't work like that. Okay. Such an easy, lowest baby bar ever to set to dispel the rumors. Hey, can we get some pictures from your wedding day? Like, you with your family and not just pictures that have been given to us from a woman who quite literally is facing charges for falsifying pictures. Like we've got like 4 photos of the whole life. And yeah, I'm being sued because that's the next.
Yeah. Okay. So the attorney said, I'm going to send them and they're going to bring scientific evidence and you need to file that damn motion to dismiss and stop asking for a delay. Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead. Because we can just look at the court docket, Candace. You're playing games with this. Why delay it if you're sick of it? Wouldn't you want to just go ahead and get this going? Why are you taking so long to file a brief? Why do you need an extension for 3,000 words? See, it's not about what she says. It's about what she's doing. But, when you have a cult of personality, they're not paying attention to that. They're paying attention to all this fluff. But it's what you're doing that real people who understand how horrible you are paying attention to. And I'm here to report on it.
Next logical step.
You're
You
welcome.
sue people for telling the truth to scare them. And it's all related, by the way. We're talking about who Brigitte actually is, the families that Brigitte is related to, the fact that Emmanuel Macron is, in fact, just like the state of Israel, a Rothschild creation, talking about the military-industrial complex, and talking about
None
the
of it is related.
Kabbalah very much is the reason for this push in culture for transgenderism. We'll get more into that in the book club, which gets a bit more theological. But that's a very important series. And basically what happened.
Yeah, because everything is fake and gay.
And this week is people who hadn't even watched the series were like, okay, I've seen enough. Brigitte Macron crying because she doesn't know. Brigitte doesn't know why, but on the tax forms, the French tax forms, Brigitte is listed as Jean-Michel and listed as a male.
Wasn't that debunked? Do you understand that tax documents are in writing that can be presented as evidence, you dingus? Yeah, Candace Owens, let's not forget, she doesn't know the definition of the word nationalism.
So they're trying to lie and tell the public that they think this was done by a team of hackers. Okay. Hackers who they haven't arrested. Okay. What hacker?
Produce the evidence.
This happened years ago, right? It was actually someone who worked for her who said, oh, this is weird. Like, I'm in your account right now and you're registered as a dude named Jean-Michel. Mr. Bremen is the guy who did this, a government official. He made the revelation and he recounted how Brigitte was stunned to learn that her legal name had been quote unquote changed when she logged into her personal tax account. We were completely surprised, said Mr. Bremen. Oh, okay. So we're supposed to believe the government, evidence? Which Brigitte is controlling. By the way, this person, Bremen, has worked with the couple since 2017. And we're supposed to believe that a hacker was going to risk hacking the president of France. Okay, the government, had to be the government, decided to hack the government and to only change the name. Like, if you're going to risk that kind of an offense, that sort of a criminal offense, at least take the money. At least say, and they wiped out $2 million. It was a crazy hack, a little joke at the end of it. But no, just wanted to hack and risk criminal charges to change your name to Jean-Michel way back when this wasn't even a viral story. I mean, completely ridiculous. Okay. You were born Jean-Michel Trogneux. You transitioned and you've been put in this position of power. And
if you're going to violate HIPAA privacy laws and so flagrantly and put it up on your video, Candace, at least say how much you paid the young lady from the hospital, because you're indicating that this was a female. But at least say how much you paid them to send you that information. You see, anything you can do, I can do better. I'm just going to do it better than you. Because obviously you paid for that information. Because otherwise that person just risks their entire career. No one is saying that Brigitte Macron is a man except you, and you're being sued because you're purporting that to be a fact. And now you want to bring up something about tax forms, which if she brought her tax forms to court, the actual documents, especially at the time the tax forms were completed, and it has her actual name as Brigitte Macron listed, that's another lie. You can't prove. You have not presented a shred of evidence. Where's the tax document to support your BS right now? Where is the tax document, Candace? Where's that gag order you said you were going to violate? Why didn't you post that up that you think you're bound by? Because voices in your head is telling you that you're special.
I don't know why they would do this. You got away with
where the tax document?
Emmanuel when he was 14 years old, sexual offense. And you went after, France? I mean, he was a child in my view, in everyone's view, a 14-year-old kid. You got like a 40-year-old adult that goes after him. And now you're pretending you're.
That's not the lawsuit. The lawsuit is about you claiming that she's a man, which is provably false, which they plan on proving to be false with scientific evidence. Like medical records and things you can't get your hands on. They're going to bring that with them to court, Candace Owens. Hopefully they win at least $10 million. Erica Kirk is going to be suing you next for accessing her husband's medical records and documentation without any consent. And that damn hospital. I can't believe that someone thought it would be a good idea to send Candace Owens the screenshot. You don't think that that digital data is going to leave footprints to where if the FBI wanted to, they could track it to see who sent it and have your ass charged criminally? You can't get any dumber than this. Look at his face. You know, cow goes moo.
We're the victim, okay? A little bit crazy. We're getting tired of it. You can't just keep pretending everything is just happening to you. Just present some pictures. Stop pretending that you're offering genetic evidence in the court hearing against me. You're not even suing me for the claim that I said you were born a male.
You keep saying this, and this is why they amended the complaint. Because you keep doubling down with the level of stupidity because you don't understand definitions of words or how court works. And yet you won't admit you filed the motion to dismiss because you really don't want to go through the lawsuit, Candace. You won't even show the court docket on your show. You won't even pull it up. You haven't gone over that motion to dismiss at all. You refuse to tell the candy asses, hey, y'all, I hate this lawsuit. I really don't want to go through this. So I filed the motion to dismiss. The end. Won't even
You're
say
suing
it.
me for the claim that I said you stole your sister's identity
No,
to
she's
transition.
suing you because you said she
That's
was
what you're suing me over, amongst very many other things that are ridiculous. And you've never offered genetic evidence because you didn't even get to that stage of the hearing.
Owe you that. You owe you that. Do you understand genetic information is a violation of HIPAA privacy? They don't have to give it to you, you dingbat. She doesn't know laws. Y'all. They don't owe you that, Candace. They don't owe you that because they have the right to protect their medical information. Do you really think? Here's a question. Do you really think that the First Lady of France is going to send you genetic evidence just to disprove your dumb shit you keep saying about her? Really? Do you really think the First Lady of France is thinking about you that much to where she's willing to give you scientific evidence that she doesn't owe you just to disprove you lying on her about being born a man? Do you really think that they owe you that? You know, because you just posed that question about the hacker thing, right? She just said that about the hackers. Yeah, you really think they're going to sit here and go out their way to hack into the president of France? I'm glad you recognize them to be what they are. So, back at you. Do you really think the First Lady of France owes you her medical information? Or blood? Because you wanted the blood of the First Lady. Yeah, I send my doctor out, get a little blood, take care of this real quick. No. Keep throwing your tantrum, girl.
Gotten to any stage, actually. It's like the back forth, tit for tat, changing the filings, all very preliminary. You're just doing the most in terms of PR, trying to convince the world against something that we recognize, which is that you were born a male. So you may not come clean. Everybody, and I mean everybody worldwide, is exhausted with your wife's penis. We're going to take a quick break and get to your comments.
Oh, God, no. I don't want to hear about no moo cows. Cow goes moo. You can't make this stuff up. Didn't she have some comments go in on her today?
Guys, everything is still fake and gay. Please give your husband and kids a huge hug from all of us. They are the ones who support you every day. Thank God for them. They are amazing, and it is because of my family that I genuinely I know that I was saved because I had the confidence to be more of myself when I married George, and he has supported me through everything, and me never having the fashionable opinion.
George, she's gonna catch another lawsuit, bro. I hope you know that. Erica Kirk is about to sue the crap out of your wife. You know, because she wants to be Charlie Kirk's wife. I'm gonna say that forever. Obviously. Candace Owens wanted to be Charlie Kirk's wife. He's like, nah. He married Erica Kirk. Now she's big mad. Big mad. Big mad, mad, mad. Big mad. And now she's throwing a tantrum. thinking that she's owed another man's medical information while she continues to reminisce on him for 6 whole weeks. You understand, George, what's about to happen? Because now she shared medical information that violated HIPAA privacy laws that she's supposed to be upholding here in the United States of America, because she says she's okay with nationalism and all. It is in our best interest to obey the laws of the land. Even the Bible speaks on that. So federal laws, national laws, are laws that she should want to obey and uphold. And she's not doing that. And now she's probably put someone at risk of being terminated. They should definitely be fired and could be sued for showcasing medical records that violated HIPAA privacy laws. George, if you want out, just say, I'm taking the children and I'm leaving. Bye. And that's it. We barely know who you are, George Farmer, because she doesn't talk about you. Not as much as she talks about Charlie. Why won't she do a George Farmer series? Candace, why don't you do a George Farmer series? You do a series about your husband and his lineage and all of that, and his connections and all this stuff. Going back to the Catholic Church and all this stuff. Why don't you do a series on him? That would be interesting.
And of course, it impacts the knock-on effect with the world that he knew. I mean, my husband, think about this. My husband used to work with, and we used to donate to like the Friends of Israel when he was in the UK, and he married me. And so, I would say I was from Israel when we met, but life has changed dramatically, and he has been there and he's always supported me. Stuart Dillian writes, "Hi, Candace, would you mind sharing your homeschooling plan sometime? My wife and I tried twice, traditional and unschooling, but it did not succeed. I'd love to know what's working for you. Thanks, and keep up the great work." First thing I want to say, it has been an absolute gift to take everything so literally. And the number one thing that I will say, and I was for the kids, but it is a family. Obviously, I am blessed, and I recognize that I get to work more in the afternoon, and I don't have to have the full 8-hour day. But you can figure it out, and you will be a happier person if you do. Mrs. Preppy writes, "Do you hold hope that the Trump administration could come through with justice for Charlie? What if Trump is reconsidering his love for Israel, like Charlie? There is Ivanka. Trump wouldn't and couldn't do anything without getting his daughter back." No, I don't hold out any hope at all, actually. And the fact that Trump even invited Kash Patel to that Charlie holiday thing, which I'll get into tomorrow, we're establishing a holiday, I think is proof to me that he wants this buried. I think actually Don Jr. may have even said that he accepts the narrative. I'll have to dig up that clip for you guys tomorrow. I have no hope whatsoever. And I don't believe he's reconsidering his love for Israel. Miriam Adelson gave him $100 million, and she was explicit. The $100 million meant that he would allow them to annex, not Gaza, the West Bank. So all this chatter of, that would be a step too far. No, blah, blah, blah. He pre-agreed to that, and he's going to make good on his pre-agreement. That's my perspective. Someone asked, did you background check Ian Carroll? No. I'm about to do his genealogy. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. RN Explorer writes, those hiding the truth better hope Candace does not turn out pregnant with a boy right now. I stand with the truth with Charlie and Candace. So true. You know me. I want hood rat stuff with my friends when I am pregnant with a boy. I need it all day, every day. Beck Build writes, great work, Candace, praying for your safety and that Charlie's prophecy that you will lead this movement to victory will empower you even more. Thank you for that.
She's not
Pixie Chicky writes,
turning point.
Candace, you are a class act. You are fighting for Charlie just like he asked you. Quoting Maya Angelou, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. You have done that and more to bring truth to light. Charlie would be so proud. I know he's proud. I absolutely.
Where's the documents on the taxes for the Macrons again? Candace, where's the daggone I'm about to cuss for real. Where's the daggone gag order you said you're going to violate, that you think you're bound by? Where's that video of Tyler Robinson walking with a woman? Who was the person that told you she was paid to give you a tip? Who was the person that sent you this medical information that you just showed in a video to the world, violating HIPAA privacy laws? Who's that individual? How much did you pay them? Because we know you paid for that tip. They didn't just send you that for free. Now they're about to lose their job and get nothing out of it. You can't make this up.
Know that Charlie is proud and that everything that we discussed, I hate that he was right about his life, but I also know that I'm the right person to do this because I came through that matrix and I know
Oh, never mind,
what's
Erica
up and what's
Kirk.
down. Like they just can't fool me with this stuff. You've done it to me so many times, and
Erica Kirk is the CEO of Turning Point USA, not Candace Owens. Erica Kirk. You know, because she married him. She has his last name. You don't. You don't even use your husband's last name. Why doesn't Candace use her husband's last name unless it's pertaining to something in Australia? The name of this show is Candace. It's not even Candace Farmer. You don't even correct people when they say Candace Owens. You don't say my name is Candace Owens Farmer. Actually, Candace Farmer, because I'm married. She doesn't even use her husband's last name. Candace, you ought to be ashamed of yourself, you unfamiliar spirit. You
provide it, and you can't do the thing that you always do, which is try to convince the world the person is crazy, because I'm not giving them that. You did it with Kanye. You put him on a Psych 5150 hold. You did it to many people in Hollywood. I know how it works, and I'm teaching people to learn about your psychological operation, which is what it is.
What?
Sarah writes, "Go girl, love the Aussies. I'm so sad I won't be able to speak there." Gia writes, "Love you so much, Candace. Don't stop exposing these lies. You are a true friend. May God continue to bless you and your family. Love from Toronto."
Did you do a background check on Ian?
That is all that we had today, you guys. If you'd like to support us.
Yeah, what with the comments? I thought she got roasted. Somebody said, "Did you run a background check on Ian Carroll?" No. Why? Yeah, shouldn't you be doing that, Betty? I can't believe she actually read a comment that didn't like kiss her ass or something. It wasn't that bad. It just said, "Did you background check Ian Carroll?" That's the only comment. The rest of them she picks through and read because they have to, flatter her in some way. Oh my God, y'all. So we've learned about the law that Candace is openly violated. Candace, stop crying about that lawsuit with the Macrones. You're going to lose. As a matter of fact, tell your attorneys to stop asking for extensions. It's 3,000 words. What more do they need to say other than we really don't want to go through this? She needs 3,000 more words just to express how she wants this case to be dismissed. I thought you didn't want to dismiss, Candace. You unfamiliar spirit, you. You can't make this up. Y'all, we're going on 3 hours and 31 minutes of this. I'm going to have to break this video down, but just in case, here's what I need you all to do. If you want to watch it again and again and again, because this was good stuff today. We went over her case. We looked up definitions of terms because she won't do it. We looked up the law. We've given, Erica Kirk more evidence to file an awesome lawsuit against her. Make sure you replay this video on like 1.5 speed. And I talk fast. Everything is just a lot more funny. Okay. She's about to get hammered. Candace Owens just introduced herself to a lot more lawsuits. She said, "I challenge you all to sue me." Good. Challenge accepted. So thank you all so much for tuning in. I appreciate all of you. The resources to the information will be in the description of the video. And, if you want to go over there and check out Candace Owens here and vomiting words all over a video talking about the U.S. military. U.S. military is not for play. Stop effing with them, girl. You're not ready for that, especially when you can't define the word nationalism. So I will see you all tomorrow, and we're going to do this again because this is fun for me. All right. Until the next one, you guys have a good night. Oh, shoot. I got supers. Wait a minute. Shout out to my fantastic mod, Laura, who's also my admin here in StreamYard for the membership. Thank you so much, Bernice, for the $9.99 super. Thank you so much for that. Thank you, Bronx Girl, for the $20 super. Sadie people are out here making her richer on her lies. God bless. Is that Sadie? It's all good. I got you. Thank you so much for the $20 super. I think we gotta go. Yes. Mila S. Thank you for the 99 super sticker. That is absolutely amazing, you guys. We met our goal for the live stream. Thank you all so much. We have a $25 live goal every live. And you guys see what we're saving up to buy. We're trying to get a new desk. It is absolutely needed because I got some equipment just kind of scratched here. So thank you so much. Catch the replay. Put it on 1.5 speed. I guarantee you will laugh your behind off. All right. Until the next one, you guys have a good night. Lady Luck Club out. Deuces.